gamers, and welcome to episode 471 of the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade for September 28th, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Daniel Nicholson, and with me is my co-host, Dominic Stallworth. What's going on this week, Dominic?
Not much, man. Just waiting for these playoffs for baseball, man. Orioles are in there. They got the lead wild card spot, so they will have home field for that spot. So it'll be 2 out of 3 games they got to win. So that's good. Also, basically almost everybody's set. I think the National League is the only one that's not officially set because of Atlanta having to play the Mets. But in Atlanta, they have the hurricane. So, man, like the hurricane all down south, like Georgia and Florida, like been hit. So I hope those people get through that. There's a lot of flooding places. But yeah. But what else? Football is full swing. NFL, my team, the Commanders, man, they showed out on Monday night, and the quarterback showed out too, and he was like the talk of the week, because he looked great. They came out and upset the Bengals, who were desperate. Bengals had not won a game. They just came from a tough loss against Kansas City, so everybody was just thinking this is a bounce back game. And Kansas City, and Bengals were just going to destroy the Washington, which I did too. I mean, I had no reason not to think that. And technically, if you just look at the stats, the Bengals did. They did destroy our defense. Our defense is not that great. It's not great at all. It's like I don't know where we're at. I don't know where we're at, like as far as rankings, as far as like defenses, but I know we're down the bottom. But they scored on us, but so did we. We answered everything they did, and thing is, when they answered early on twice with field goal attempts, well, one attempt that missed, and 2 of them, and 2 other ones they did make, we scored touchdowns. So that's how we just kept the lead. And this our offense has not punted in 2 games. Wow. They haven't punted since the first week. Like, because even on the Giants game, we kept going downfield. We just didn't get in the end zone. And this time we did get in the end zone, and our quarterback got his first passing touchdown. He has rushing touchdowns, and now he's got his first passing touchdown. The first passing touchdown is to Lyman. Like it was like a fake. And the lineman was the receiver, and he caught the touchdown. But then he did a nice bomb to close out the game to McLaurin, our best wide receiver.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And, like, he's that it's looking good, man. Like it's like, yes, this feels like 2012 again with RG3. It was like, yeah, man, it's looking good, feeling good. And I'm not, and you know what? Like some people, it's like people are saying like, I'm happy, but we were happy about RG3. But you know what? That's sports, though. It's like I'm gonna be happy. What's the point of me watching these games when I'm not gonna be happy?
Right.
Yeah. like, why put you through that stress? That's the thing. You live the moment. That's the thing. It's all about the moment. It's not. You don't like me as a fan. I don't need to look at the future. I don't know what the hell the future's gonna be. It's the moment. You be excited for what it is. Yes, I like to. Like, you shouldn't feel bad that you were happy RG3. He was your quarterback, and he did well. Then he got hurt, and then he didn't do well. I mean, that's just how it worked, man. I mean, it happens. So, there's a potential that something could go wrong. Like, this could be the best thing our quarterback does, and then later on, he's just not that good. Maybe, but until that happens, you know what? Just be, like, happy. It's like, yes. We got a quarterback. Our defense sucks. Like, in which I already knew that. Like, after watching us the first 2 weeks, I just knew our defense was bad. And maybe it'll get better. I have no idea, because I don't know enough about the team to know. I know they keep saying how we have 2 linemen that should be really good for us, but they're just not doing that well right now. I don't know. But so I just go in expecting our defense to be bad. Defense has been bad for years now, so I'm kind of used to it. I'm like, hey, as long as we score, like, be competitive. And it looks like our offense is. So I'm like, hey, at least make it entertaining for me. That was the thing, was that hey, it's one thing to have bad defense, but if your offense ain't doing nothing either, it's not fun to watch. Like unless you're the other team. But at least now I can say, hey, we got a guy who's exciting. Like it's who's fun to watch. Like we haven't had that since RG3. Because I mean, even though I like Kirk Cousins, Kirk Cousins is arguably the best quarterback we had since you could say the mid '90s or early '90s. Basically, in the time I've been watching Redskins football seriously, which is probably like 90, well, maybe 98. 98 to now, Kirk Cousins has been the best quarterback we ever had. And we had snippets of good from people, but he was the one that lasted the longest, the best that we had. Now, he was exciting to watch, though, like RG3 was for his rookie year. Now, see, that's the thing. That RG year, it was, like, exciting to watch RG3. Like, you just like you loved watching him. And then until the injury happened, then that was it. But, yeah, we haven't had, like, a really exciting player to, like, just watch on this team for all those years. Like, I did like Clinton Portis. He was pretty good. But it was like RG3 was like, oh, cool. I never had a guy on the team like this. And now it looks like we might have that again with Jayden Daniels. And this is a guy who can run, but he can pass. And as of right now, and like Lamar Jackson, like now the passing is iffy, but he's okay. Like he's okay passing. He's not great passing. He's okay passing. And which is a lot better. Like it looks like a more evolved version of like what Michael Vick was. Like Michael Vick, like he was really more just running. I mean, he can pass, but that wasn't a strong suit. And for Lamar Jackson, yeah, it's not a strong suit, but it is. But I see him as a better passer than Michael Vick. And he's able to. It seems like he's able to do more exciting things than what Michael Vick did. Like he's basically more like evolved that. And Jay Daniels is too early for me to say either way what he's going to be. But he does have the moves. He's not as big as Lamar Jackson, but he is. It looks like he's a little faster than him though, as far as getting out places. But yeah, I'm not like people like to be very hyperbolic, even so early on. It's like, man, it's only been 3 games. I can't. Until that man wins MVP. Like, I can't. He's not going to be in the conversation for me with Lamar Jackson. So I'm just happy to have a quarterback on our team. That's what I'm happy about. All the other stuff comes later. Ravens also killed. Well, they start out killing the Cowboys, the Ravens, and then the Cowboys really stormed back, and this been a problem with the Ravens is that holding leads, but they held off. They beat the Cowboys. Cowboys look like they are who we thought they were. Like they're the team we thought. They just seem like the same as last year. Team that can beat up on the bad teams. Because look, they beat up on the Giants. They barely beat the Giants though. So it's like, you got killed by 2 good teams, with the Ravens and the Saints. Even though Ravens had didn't win the game, but you knew they were a good team. They just they played horrible against Raiders. You know, they lost to Kansas City, which hey, everybody has so far these 3 weeks, and Kansas City is just that team that even though they don't really look great this year, they're winning, and it's like, oh, that's like how the Patriots was. Like sometimes it's like, oh, they're not really winning impressively or anything; they're just winning. And it's like, oh, it seems like it's kind of like that. Like some calls there, you know, that's kind of iffy. That seems like it'll go KC side. And it's like, yeah, it looks like that's where we're at here. And yeah, that's why I don't even bother watching those games. I'm just like, I'm just going to see something like, oh, here we are. They're the new Patriots, so whatever. Baltimore is still a good team, and like the Cowboys just can't see compete because they barely beat the Giants, and like they start off hot. Like you thought, like okay, yeah. I mean, still they beat a bad team, but at least look like they put up points and looking better. But then I think the end of the score wasn't that impressive. It was like, oh darn, man, it's like I just score more points in that first quarter. So it yeah, Cowboys, and I think even Cowboys fans even know this because I listened to some of their podcasts. They were just saying that, like, Jerry Jones he didn't build that defense. He didn't change much on the defense. We already knew that they weren't great, so they're not gonna they're just gonna probably be what they were.
Yeah.
Eagles are looking better. Well, Eagles, they had one bad week. They did, but they beat a good team last week, I think in Atlanta, and so they're the favorite. Like I said, I think they're the favorite to win. Second place, it's between the Cowboys and I think Washington. Washington's a wild card. Like I don't expect Washington to be in last place. I expect Giants to be in last place, but they have a chance to be anywhere really. To me, they're like a wild card. Like they could, like I wouldn't be surprised if they win the division, just because I can't say the Eagles are dominant. I mean, it's so easy to say like, oh, the Eagles just look like the best team out there, but they look like the best team last year too, and then they look sorry at the end of the year. So I don't know what it is. The NFL is week to week, but there's nobody I can say is dominant. Like there's really no dominant team except for Buffalo. Buffalo Bills look like they're dominant, and we'll see what they do against the Ravens. But the thing is, when Buffalo plays KC, no matter how good Buffalo looks, if I was betting, I was gonna pick KC because, like I said, they might look impressive, but they didn't look impressive last year, and they still won a Super Bowl. So it's like it don't matter. Like to me, I'm picking KC until they lose, and like Buffalo, hey, it's good. I mean, no, as a fan, if I was a fan of the team, I'd be great. You look great, but I'm like, yo, the team we can't get past is KC, and I talk about in the playoffs. You can beat a regular season all you want. When they come to that playoffs, when it's important, and you want that ring, shucks, that's what I want. I want to beat them. Like I don't care about lose. Like that's what I'm saying. I mean, I still want to beat them. I want to beat them on regular season because I don't want to lose a game. But darn, like it just sucks. So I don't know when they play KC this year, but yeah, Buffalo. I mean, they look like the most impressive team this year, but I think it's always going to be. Then I would just say it's them in Kansas City, like who I think is like the best teams, and until Kansas City shows otherwise, as in what I mean otherwise is that they lose in the playoffs. Because like the rest of the division doesn't look that good, so it look like they definitely gonna win the division. So unless they lose the playoffs, that's when I say, oh, they're not that good. And Buffalo, until they beat Kansas City, they could be the best regular season team. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. But as the season goes on, NFC, I don't see a dominant team. I'm not seeing a real dominant team. Like as of right now, these first 3 weeks, you're not seeing nobody like you said. Man, they're the team to beat. So it's pretty open. That's what I think. It's like Washington. It's like somebody said. Let's have ourselves a year, man. Because it's pretty open. We got exciting quarterback. Hey, shit can happen. Something can happen. So we can just be the win the division. Or we might number two. Hell, number two would be great. I would love to be number two in our division. Or find a way to sneak in the playoffs. Like I would like to do that. Maybe that's how we've been getting into the playoffs all these other years. All the other years, like because our division either sucked, and then we was just the best out of them, and sometimes in other years we snuck in. We snuck in as like a wild card. Like we came out of nowhere and won games. We always win games in a row at the end of the year, and then you say, "Oh, we snuck in." It's never that you knew they were going to make the playoffs at the beginning of the year, and it's never that they were just dominant that year either. They just always just kind of squeeze in. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So, like, it's just waiting for baseball playoffs, really get into the season. College football, I'm not really paying much attention to. I heard of some nil stuff happening there because I heard, like, a player from UNLV, University of Las Vegas, who quit the team. The team is 3-0. He's the quarterback. And he left the team because he said that he was promised $100,000. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't pay him. So he said, because he's a senior, there's still the rule of like red shirt where he could still play next year. So he said he would have to leave now. He can't play any more games because he play any more games, he'll lose the red shirt, and then he can't play next year. Oh, so he said, I'm going to leave the team. And because they have an honor contract, and I'm going to be red shirt myself for this year and play next year. And the thing is, it's a verbal contract. He said it was a verbal contract. So So there's really no proof on it, really. And the agent, I don't know that he have. I mean, somebody from the organization, I don't know who came out if this was legit, but he said that he got the agent after this, like, after they went 3-0 and not before. Now, even still, because I have to say this, if he got the agent before 3-0, that's a horrible agent because you should get everything right.
Yeah.
So that was bad. Or at least if you're gonna do a verbal contract, I mean, people do verbal contract. If you're gonna do a verbal contract, at least get like half the money or something. Get something. But I don't know, man. It's just looks bad on both sides. But I don't know. I think it can look bad on his side because it's gonna be like, hey, you quit the team while the team was winning, and like, why'd you do that? I mean, and then you can say like, and then because he said he talked to the assistant coach, and then Giz said the assistant coach can't even make those decisions. So even the assistant coach told you, but then I guess you could say he didn't know. But then I'm like, if he had an agent, the agent should have known. Like the agent should know. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if he got the agent after this, then that's on him. That's a mistake. I mean, it sucks, and I feel him. Like it'd probably be hard to play too. Like I mean,
yeah,
not just hard to play, but just that if you were promised something and they said they didn't do it, yeah. I know one guy said, "Hey, I would just tough it out and play it." I mean, it sucks, but it's just that it'll look bad. It's just that you can lose favor against people. Like
yeah,
in the
I mean,
future.
you don't look like you're a team player, so people
Yeah,
might.
and then people who can help you in anything, even if you don't play NFL,
Yeah.
like just in anything, it's just it can look bad. And so it just kind of is one of those things where I say, hey, lesson learned, get everything in writing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially when it's a he said she said type thing. Yeah,
Yeah, and I kind of get it. I mean, unless you're just good. I mean, unless you're good with your future, that you're willing to take that risk, like to say that play, then that's fine. That's it's your choice. Like I don't know who's telling the truth here. I don't know what's real or not. But also I hope there's a lesson for other people to like, hey, get shit in writing.
yeah.
Don't
absolutely.
take that shit like, and then because it could happen. So I know some people say, hey, this is the problem with the nil. It happened like that. Yeah, that is a problem. But it's like I said, it's a problem that they created on their own. That the college, like it should never gotten to that point.
Yeah.
They should have had something in place years ago. But y'all wanted to get as much money from these kids. And look, I'm gonna be honest with you. For the people who didn't make the change like years ago, I can see it from them, especially for people who know that they're not gonna be in whatever position they're in with the college, either boosters or whatever. I don't know what they like do. They know they're not going to be there forever. They're like, I want to make as much money as I can and let whoever in the future takes care of this problem, something like that. Like and that's what it seems like it is. It seems like they wait to the last minute when the shit start really going to courts to say like, okay, we gotta make a change.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, I'm not gonna make a change or nothing. I'm gonna make as much money as I can. And now when everything's all over, it's like, okay, some people left. It's like, hey, oh, the fun is over. It's like the fun is over. Can't take advantage of them anymore. Some people probably laugh and did things, but it's like it's on the colleges though. It's like you let it freaking get to the point where it got like this. Like, first of all, years ago, you should have made it so that people could get jobs and like or advertisement stuff on their own.
Yeah.
Like if somebody wants to pay this kid like outside to do a commercial or something, he can do it. Like you should have made that. That would have made it a whole lot easier for you to still not like pay the kids or something like the colleges themselves, because at least they can have that because the most famous players get that and stuff like that. And I mean, and then after a while you build of like what to do. And like I said, I said you should make it so that those kids get to have scholarships for this college. Like, because if they don't go pro or whatever into that sport, they can still go to college and practice something to get to have a career they want to do. It was so many things you could have done, but you let it get to this, and now it's it's going to be pretty much fucked up. It's not going. Yeah, college football's not the same. I mean, college sports is not the same like it used to be anymore. And I mean, I don't want it to be the same as it was before, but you made it so that it got to this point. Like what the f? You like it? What you thought? It wasn't going to stay like this forever. Like people weren't going to be like, hey, I'm just going to not. That is going to make us money on us forever. You know, like for nothing. All right, so. Yeah, so that's it in sports. So what's going on in wrestling?
They're basically WWE is building to its Bad Blood pay-per-view, which is happening next week. That's probably going to be headlined by Roman and Cody versus the Bloodline. They are making an uneasy truce, basically to fight the Bloodline. And also Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk in Hell in a Cell. They have kind of stopped doing the Hell in a Cell pay-per-views and have switched to the model of actually doing a Hell in a Cell when it kind of makes sense to have it instead of just the scheduled time of the year. And the feud between those two guys at this point warrants it. It's been a lot of Punk screwing Drew McIntyre out of opportunities to win the championship. And they're kind of even as far as their matches go. Drew won the first one, CM Punk won the second one, so now they're doing a Hell in a Cell. Hopefully it's a blow-off match, and then we'll get into kind of Royal Rumble, WrestleMania season, and we'll see where they go from that if they switch to CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, who sounds like he could be coming back soon as well. That's kind of where we are with that stuff, though. They're also going to be doing Drew McIntyre, Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship. And that should be a good match. It's going to have Dominic Mysterio in a shark cage above the ring so that he cannot interfere. I feel like I'm sure he will still find a way to interfere because that's the way these shark cage matches always happen. But it's kind of funny because many, many years ago when he was a young child, Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio had a ladder match for custody of Dominic Mysterio. The contract for his custody was at the top of the ladder. So it's kind of coming full circle now for Dominic Mysterio. And yeah, that's what's happening there. AEW is still kind of just going along. There's good stuff happening over there, but I haven't really been able to keep up. It sounds like their TV deals are getting closer to coming to a close. They might actually be getting a show on Fox, which would be kind of a replacement for SmackDown because SmackDown is no longer on Fox and Fox no longer has any wrestling. Now, it sounds more likely, though, that this won't be Fox proper. It'll be like FS1 or something like that. But that's still a pretty big deal for AEW if they can get Fox money as well as Turner money, basically, because they'd still be doing that. I'm just hoping that it finds its way onto Max. Obviously, with the pay-per-view stuff, that would be great just because $50, especially now that they've increased the number of pay-per-views that they're doing, it's one thing to try and convince people to give you like $50 every quarter, every 3 months. But now they're basically doing a pay-per-view almost every month. And that's basically the WWE schedule. And I don't think anyone could convince me to, they're not convincing me to give them $50 even on a quarterly basis. But like with WWE, there's no way you could convince me to pay $50 for a pay-per-view now because you've set that in stone that it's part of, either one of these streaming services or back in the day, the WWE network.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. Like, I'll be having a hard time to go back.
Yeah. So, and I think that's why AEW is I don't know what the negotiations are, but it feels like maybe that's why they've pushed that off for as long as they could because they know there's no going back. It's either you take the streaming money or you stick with the big dollar pay-per-view money. And if you're getting the money out of that you want, then maybe you're satisfied. But I really want this to show up on a streaming service. most likely Max because it's Warner Brothers, and plus I already have it, so that would be convenient for me. But yeah, that's kind of where wrestling's at. It's in a really positive place. I mean, we'll talk in the next segment about the Netflix documentary, but that's it's mostly talking about the past. So we're in a good place right now, Dominic.
All right. So let's go into what we were watching. So I guess we can just continue on talking about wrestling because Vince McMahon documentary started. Well, actually, no, wait a minute. Is there anything I can mention? I did watch 2 episodes of the new season of Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, the new season, and so far I enjoy it. It's all right. Cool. Also, I went and watched because Dexter had came back on with New Blood.
Yeah.
And apparently there also is a Dexter prequel coming out soon.
Oh, really? Okay.
That deals with him before, like when he was young with his father and learning how to get away with killing.
Interesting.
So I watched the New Blood. I watched like 3 episodes of that, the New Blood, and I like that one too. So far, I mean, I enjoy it. It's all right. His son is sometime in the future, but his son finds him, and he's currently staying. So it's interesting, but he doesn't know that he's a killer. So I'm thinking like, oh, so this is not known that Dexter is.
Yeah, like we don't know that he's just a serial killer. Like it's not in the news.
Yeah, I mean he has a fake name and everything, so I'm guessing there's some people who knows, so that's why he got a new identity and everything. But it's like the son not knowing because he said like my father left me, and I was thinking like I'm confused, so I had to go back and look to see what happened, like what, because I could have sworn it was known that he was the guy to kill his people, or like how his son doesn't know that. It's like how does he not know? I know he's been out of the country. Because I remember he gave him to his girlfriend or something, his son, and they left the country. But it's like you're gonna hear that your father is a serial killer. If he's a serial killer, it's gonna be on the news and stuff.
Yeah, and
that's how I was confused. Well, I was confused by like Dexter, because Dexter now, where he used to see his father, and his like it's like he's talking to the ghost of his father. When he talks to himself. Now he talks to his sister because his sister died. Mm-hmm. He talks to her, and he's like, "You can't say you can't." So what? She gonna hide the truth or something? I was like, "Hide? He don't know." And I was very confused. So I was like, "Oh, I didn't. I thought he knew." And so I was like, "Wow, this is gonna be interesting." Like he has not been killing, but of course, hey, I mean, it's a new season. This is a whole new season of Dexter, so it's like, what's Dexter without him murdering somebody?
Right.
So
he's
like
getting the urge. Somebody's gonna do something bad nearby, and he's gonna be like, "I'm here for it."
I mean, exactly. That's what happens, and then he sees the blood, and he just wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all right, so yeah, so that's basically it. That's what I watched. So yeah, but and the Mr. McMahon documentary, I watched 1 episode of that. That's on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Just the first one. You said you watched what, 3
of them? Yeah, so far.
Okay. So what I watched of it, the first one, it seemed like it just deals with the history of WWE. I mean, it talks a little bit about Vince McMahon and like his childhood, about his father, but it doesn't really delve into it much. Like, I ain't really hearing much about his mother.
They really don't mention her much at all.
Yeah, when women are important day. But anyway, but it's really it deals with his history into WWE, of him getting the company and then running things. But I want to know the exact details of him getting the company from his father, though.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like they went deep in that either.
Nah, because it's always like the story he tells is always that he like bought it from his father, but I don't necessarily know where he got that money from. or anything
Yeah,
like that, or
exactly.
like what kind of deal his father might have gave for him.
Hey, yeah, because you say you bought it. It's like, oh, what was he doing? Was he bought it with the money his father already gave him, and then basically, like, what is that? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is that? How does that work?
Yeah.
So, and yeah, they didn't really go in detail on that. I was a little disappointed in that. But they talk about like some of the history and stuff, the early times of wrestling before it got big. It was still the territories of like United States that had their own wrestling products, and basically how WWF at the time grew, and before they even did WrestleMania, like it led up to it. Like that's how the episode kind of ended, when them lead up to WrestleMania, the first WrestleMania, and then slightly what happened after that one. And like I didn't know how it like WrestleMania started. I looked at none of that history. I have never seen that history or anything, or so I don't even know anything about it. I mean, I honestly did not know where WrestleMania started. Man, I thought it was older than that. Honestly, yeah. I mean, I thought it was all right. I mean, I enjoyed the show. But what you think of it?
Yeah, I think it's a well put together product. I think it kind of fails wrestling fans by not having really anything new to present. It outside of the fact that like Vince McMahon is there, it's not really telling a story that we haven't already.
He has some weird makeup on his face.
His lips particularly are just. Yeah, I don't know. It's like they're bloodshot or something almost.
It's like, what's up with the lipstick, dude?
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
There's definitely something going on there. But yeah, so like, I think like for you, it might be more interesting because it will cover stuff that maybe you aren't as familiar with. And like the second episode gets into WrestleMania 1 and kind of the rise of Hulk Hogan and stuff like that, which is also why it's so silly that it's kind of called Mr. McMahon, because it really is a very general product. It's, you know, they talk about a little bit about his upbringing, but maybe like a sentence or two. They don't delve into it. And that's just kind of a means to talk about the beginning of WWE proper, or WWF at the time, moving from WWF.
I mean, they talk about more Hulk Hogan in the second episode.
Oh,
I got that from the first one.
Yeah, well, they like, continue to talk about the Hulk Hogan quite a bit.
They talked about him within the Rocky movie and how that boosted him up, and darn.
Yeah, because eventually they talk about WCW and bringing Hulk Hogan back and how, you know, Vince felt betrayed.
I mean, okay, I get that. I get them talking about that.
Yeah, so they talk about that stuff. They talk about the steroid trial, I think, in episode 3, and of course Hogan is a part of that. I might be mixing him up a little bit, but it's kind of like that.
Okay.
It seems like the next episode is going to be about the Attitude Era, and that's really where maybe we'll start to see them talk a little bit more about Vince, because that's when you get the introduction of the Mr. McMahon character. Okay, maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm mixing it up a little bit. Episode 2 was the WCW and the steroid trial stuff. Episode 3 was the Montreal screw job and him screwing over Bret Hart and all that stuff. Okay. And really the kind of first initial sightings of him as an on-screen character in a role of power, because before that he was a commentator. He was working for his father as well. So like there's occasional bits where it's kind of, I guess, nice to see Vince McMahon acknowledge things. Like there's the story of Jesse Ventura trying to start a union with the wrestlers very early on, and Hulk Hogan basically stooges them out. And Hulk Hogan even is like, yeah, I went straight to Vince and I told him, you know, and Vince is like, oh yeah, none of the boys really wanted to do that. And it's like, and then Tony Atlas, who is a former wrestler. And I feel like of all the people that I see on these kind of like shoot interviews, I mean, even on the internet or kind of other documentaries like the Dark Side of the Ring stuff, you see him a lot there because he's not really affiliated with the WWE as much anymore. He's not like under a Legends contract. So he's kind of the straight shooter. Like he'll actually just say the stuff. And he's like, yeah, Vince said, you know, if you try and go to this meeting for the union, you're going to get fired. Now, I would have loved to have seen them have Jesse Ventura in this documentary. But it's kind of like I was telling you before we started recording. I feel like a lot of this, a lot of it was filmed before the more recent allegations have come out against Vince. And it seems like getting him and like Triple H and Stephanie and even Shane, who's maybe not as associated with the company now, it feels like this was kind of a WWE product. They had their stamp on it. So the creators of this were only going to go so far in pushing any narratives that might call into question the company or Vince's legacy or something like that. And I think they just had to make a pivot when all this stuff came out. And essentially we're like, oh yeah, well, now we're going to put in the bits about, Jimmy Snuka and him potentially murdering his girlfriend and Vince getting him off somehow. Because he was one of Vince's biggest stars at the time. So I wonder if, this got edited into kind of a different light. And I wonder what the overarching sense of Vince McMahon is by the time of this documentary in the view of the documentary itself. I mean, obviously the filmmakers or whatever you want to call them have a story that they want to tell. Like Dark Side of the Ring, for example, is talking more about the sadder portions of wrestling outside of the ring. A lot of the times, they touch on some of the stuff in the ring too. But a lot of the times it's just the stories around wrestling. And I feel like even as a casual viewer like yourself, those stories might be more interestingly told and portrayed through a medium like that than this. So, I'm halfway through the series at this point. I've heard that there's at least one episode that's more focused on like the inter-McMahon family stuff, like Vince's relationship with Shane and Stephanie and things like that. So I'm probably just going to stick it out and watch all 6 episodes. But as someone that's not getting a whole lot of new information from this, it does feel kind of like, okay, I'm hearing the same story again. And because Vince isn't even there that much, it's not like I'm getting some sort of new perspective or anything like that. It's really kind of the same talking heads that you would say. I mean, Hogan talks about this stuff. He's been all over the place, whether, you believe any of his stories anyway, that's a whole other thing. Again, a guy like Tony Atlas, he's been on a whole bunch of stuff. He's basically said the same thing. And from there, Bruce Pritchard, and he's a guy that's so loyal to Vince. Like when he wasn't working with the company, you would hear a lot more stories. But now that he's back with the company, even with Vince not there anymore, you're not getting anything out of him that's not basically skewed in Vince's favor anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, it's doing an all right job, but for somebody that like looks at the way people talk about like the 30 for 30s about stuff that they already know, but are like, it's still quite entertaining. Like, honestly, I still haven't gotten around to watching the Ric Flair, documentary. And from what I've heard, that does a better job of telling a story that maybe you don't know. Plus, a lot of that stuff, like outside of WCW, I don't really know about Ric Flair. I don't know about the NWA days and stuff like that. So for me, that's I should probably spend more time watching that than watching this. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that this is the product that we got out of this. I don't know I don't know if we're ever going to know like the real stories behind Vince McMahon. I don't know if like once he dies, if people are going to be willing to, do the tell all books, and we'll see the documentaries based around that. But like, even for, I think in the first episode of this, they basically sit Vince down and he's like, oh, the stories I could tell you. And then he's like, all right, tell us the stories. Like, oh, I can't tell you the stories. And it's like, then why are we here? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And this is pre-allegations, obviously. So like, this is the time to basically lay out your legacy. And it's weird because like, as much as of Vince McMahon or Mr. McMahon as you saw on TV during the Attitude Era, it really does seem like on a genuine level, he seems like a guy that wants to be backstage and doesn't necessarily want the public eye too much. And I don't know if that's because he knows he's up to a lot of shady stuff and he just doesn't want, anyone focused on him, or if there's some weird level of humbleness to him that, he's like, I'm just doing the job and I would like the money and the power, but I don't want the, the acknowledgement of any of that. I don't know if that's just a weird, like, old head business thing, but yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that we don't.
In our day, we had our sex parties were not videotaped.
Exactly.
We did not document our sex party.
So I don't know. It's an interesting product, but it's not nearly as interesting as I was kind of hoping it would be. And I don't know if I was necessarily expecting it to be, but I was really hoping that there was more depth to it than there ended up being here.
All right. So I guess we get into what we were playing. Yeah. So I've been playing still some more Trails. I'm probably more than halfway through, because I was looking at some of those achievements and there was looking like, say, okay, maybe I'm definitely past the halfway point. I wonder how much more it goes and how does it end? Does it end with like a continuation for the second one, or does it have like a good ending? And like, you don't, like, I don't have to be like, oh man, I have to play the second one to finish this story. I wonder, because I've been feeling that the way it's going, it seems like it might be a cliffhanger ending. Also, I've been playing some more. I played some Marvel vs. Capcom, the collection. I played some Punisher, and that's an alright beat 'em up. To me, like it was fun. I did it's like some combo moves and things you can do, like different moves, your sets, kind of similar to like a fighting game. Also like just picking up things and just beating up people, and the look of it looks good too. So I was like, darn, why I never heard of this game? Or like, why wasn't just like made a like something, a thing or something? And it's crazy that it's I guess it's Punisher going at the Kingpin, and it's two players. The second character is Nick Fury. So it's you. Yeah. So I guess it's like, hey, we gotta get two people with no powers together. But
who's another
like
guy that likes guns?
Yeah, and then they should have fixed it. They should have fixed Nick Fury to be the black one now, because the white one's dead.
The remastered version.
This is the one. This is the good one. This is the ones for the those guys who's anti-woke guys. To be like,
is that what it is?
This is our game.
They didn't try to shoehorn Sam Jackson in here.
Yeah, it's like, this is the Nick Fury. This is the Nick Fury that should be there. It should be David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff.
Like in that Nick Fury movie. Yeah, I didn't even know that. I think I heard about that movie probably like 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah. Actually probably a little more than 10 years ago, but yeah, I heard that there was a movie called Nick. What was it called? Was it called Nick Fury, or was it called Shield?
I was gonna say like Nick Fury of Shield or something.
I was like, what the hell is this? It's like, this is almost as crazy as that Spider-Man movie I never heard of. But at least that was like in the 70s. All right.
Yeah, so Nick Fury, Agent of Shield.
Yeah. See, Marvel did have movies.
The fact that came out in 1998 is shocking to me. Like, that feels like That should have been older. That should have been 1989. I was
about to say. I thought 1998. You said
post Baywatch, right? Yeah, 1998. Yeah.
Wow. Did it come in theaters or was this a TV movie?
Let's see if they. Wait a second. David Hasselhoff was born in Baltimore, Maryland, Dominic.
Oh my God! I thought he was German.
Hometown hero. No, they just love him over there for some reason. Man, look at that. Hometown hero, David Hasselhoff.
Wow, man. They should have a David Hasselhoff burger here or something.
We should.
Now I gotta look up the Hasselhoff burger.
The Hasselhoff house.
What's the burger he was eating on the floor when he was calling his daughter? Like, what kind of burger was it?
I don't know. We throw your burger on the floor and then we serve it to you.
Yeah. All right. What else did I? I also played. I think I played some Marvel versus. Was it? Oh, I think it was Marvel Superheroes, the fighting game. But this, you just fight the other Marvel superheroes. Also, Katamari is on Game Pass now. Katamari, it's like the it's like the remastered version of that, right?
Re-roll.
Or something like that. Yeah, like re-roll. What is it? Dormancy or something like that.
Katamari Damacy is what I hear some people say. I always just said Katamari. Now I don't know what I used to say. Katamari Damacy. Yeah, I don't know, but Damacy is what I always hear.
Yeah, so I finally got to play Katamari, and I was just at the very beginning when it was kind of teach you how to play, what's the controls, how to roll, and everything. Yeah, I was just not to get familiar with it because I never touched the game. I always heard how like it was one of those gems that became big like out of nowhere, and yeah, I mean I could see like the puzzly nature and stuff, like how fun it could be. I might so most likely I'll probably play some more of that. It is on Game Pass. So I can so it is on Game Pass, and so yeah, I'll probably just play that. It's on the cloud, so I can just easily just jump in and just play a bit of it. So that's good. Also, I've been playing I just playing a lot of baseball, like on the Colorado Rockies, and like we won 2 World Series so far, and I've been keeping this guy. This guy named Blackman, who I wish he would retire, but he keeps coming. I mean, he's a free agent, but I don't want to just let him to stay in free agency and then retire. It seems like a lot of those guys do. They'll stay in free agency, then they'll be like, oh, they're retired now. Yeah. I was like, why are you still trying to play? Just go home to your family. But
I've got no one.
So like he's like a staple over in Colorado. Like he's like one. Like I remember he's been there for a while. He's been a cool guy. He doesn't really have Hall of Fame numbers, but I kind of made it so that he does. I made him like have the best 2 hitting careers of his life in his last 2 years. And I was like, yeah, he finally got over 2,000 hits, and he's right now. Well, he was gonna get 300 home runs because it would just be too much, and but now he probably can because he was still out there in the market for free agency. And also I was like, God damn it, he ain't retiring. I said, come on, man. I said, I got you an MVP, and you got to be a playoff MVP. Yeah.
Man. All right, so I've just mostly been playing The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. That is the new kind of top-down isometric style Zelda game, actually starring Zelda this time. Very early on, like you see in the trailer, Link is sucked into a rift with Ganon, and it is now Zelda's job to save the world of Hyrule. Same art style as the Link's Awakening remake that they did a couple of years ago. Same developer as well. Unfortunately, some of the same issues are kind of already rearing their head. It hasn't been too bad, but very quickly I noticed the slowdown. I mean, even in the trailers that they showed, I feel like I saw similar slowdown, which is something that really hampered that remake for me. So I hope it's not too intrusive. And honestly, part of me hopes that we just see a Switch 2 very soon, and this is a game that can kind of be brute forced into running well on that thing. I mean, I'm already seeing reports from like people playing under emulators that they can get it running at 120 frames per second on what I would assume are pretty monster rigs, but that's at least a good sign. But gameplay wise, this does it has a very interesting departure from the normal Zelda kind of hack and slash combat. In this, Zelda has a wand that allows you to make what they call echoes, which are basically clones of different things that you can pick up in the world, whether it be tables or beds or plants or enemies. And you can use those things to traverse the world and also in combat. Echoes of Wisdom. Yeah. There's, I don't know. I'm thinking of, now I don't even know the book that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the Phantom Toll Booth for some reason now, but yeah. What's the one with the Oprah movie? Oh, okay. Interesting. Considerable watch their ass there. But yeah, so far I don't know. I've read that there are like traditional dungeon style things in this. I've gone through one that seems like it would be kind of a dungeon, but it wasn't particularly long. But there was, multiple floors to it. There was a mini boss. There was a final boss. So I think that is, and I got a new power out of it. Another power that they've shown off in trailers, I can basically grab onto things and either pull on them or hold on to them, and as they move in the world, I would move with it. It's an interesting combination of an older style Zelda game mixed with kind of the Tears of the Kingdom procedural, not procedural, like systematic kind of gameplay where, the environment has a lot to do with it. These items that you can use and kind of manipulate in different ways. It feels very open in that way. Like there's a lot of ways to solve things. And so far, I think that's working to its advantage. The puzzles that I've solved, some of the more complicated ones at least, feel clever. And you do also get a power. I'm pretty sure they've shown this off in the trailer too. At the end of that first dungeon, or rather midway through that first dungeon, you get the ability to basically temporarily transform into Link. You get a sword, you can slash. You also just have jumping in this game. Like, in Link's Awakening, you had the rock feather, which allowed you to jump. But in this, they just right off the bat let you jump, which is a nice addition to these 2D Zelda games. Even though sometimes the perspective of it does make it a little challenging to see if like the beds that I'm building up to make stairs are at the right height or something like that. But so far, I think it feels fresh while also feeling pretty true to the traditional Zelda kind of formula. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm just hoping that the performance issues don't kind of hamper that experience. And like I said, they were immediately noticeable, but as I got further into the game, I actually haven't experienced them as much. I will say that this game, though, does start out kind of slow. Like there's a lot of talking to people and a lot of like kind of mini cutscene type things. So it does take a little time to get into okay, now I'm kind of free to explore what I want to and go into this dungeon and complete that. But yeah, positive on it so far.
And we're back. So now we're flashbacking to 2014, the last week Oh, September, we got a few games to mention. We got Disney Infinity 2.0 is out with the Marvel
Yeah.
superheroes batch here. So this is Disney Infinity came out I think what, a year before? Was it a year before it came out?
Something like that.
Yeah,
This
2013.
stuff
Yeah,
didn't last that long.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's 20 came out 2013. So now this is when they started getting Marvel, and they got like it was cool. So you see all the Marvel characters that they got and everything. Since they got the license, it wasn't just based off the movie either. Because I think did they have Spider Man because they can just do the
Yeah,
comics.
they had Spider-Man
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there.
And how about
Yeah.
X Men?
I don't think they
Yeah,
did much in
down
the
to
way of
yeah.
X-Men.
I think there was, and see that I'm sorry, that was so weird because it's like X Men is still a part of Marvel. You just can't do nothing with the movie
Yeah.
license. But it's almost like they were trying to push it so like they didn't want Fox to
Yeah,
get.
they were putting them on the back burner in case they were like going to help Fox in some
Yeah,
way. Because that's when they were like pushing the comic stuff to the back. That's when they were doing like Avengers versus Immortals or Inhumans instead of like
yeah.
X-Men and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was bad, and like that it was just so stupid because like X Men was too popular. It's like I'm sorry,
Yeah.
dude. Like your second most famous character is Wolverine. I mean, Wolverine after Spider Man is like that. Sorry, like you got that's just a movie license thing. It's like, whatever. So that's the problem when it gets to like that. But now they got it. But I just don't like that Disney owns everything, and they're not the
Everything,
only
yeah.
ones. I mean, look, like I always see people when people say like, "Oh, Disney owns everything." It's like they say like, said, "Well, say no, they don't because they're not AT&T or they're not what's the other Comcast?
Johnson and Johnson or
no, no,
something.
no, no. Well, they're talking about entertainment wise. AT&T
Oh, okay.
and Comcast because they own a lot of stuff too. I say they're horrible
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like they're just as horrible too. I mean, so it's like it's them three really. And like I'm trying to think where's Paramount fall under? I guess.
Far, far below, it feels like.
I mean, yeah, Paramount. Yeah, who did they like? That's all I want to know. Well, I just hope they stay where they are though. I mean, maybe
Because
below.
I think there was talk of them wanting to be bought by somebody.
That's what I'm
which,
saying.
like,
I don't want
that's all we
no.
need is another.
Yeah, I'll say nah, man.
consolidation.
Just tough it out because we need somebody to fucking be like just on their own because everybody's just consolidating, man.
Yeah.
Like Comcast is what is. I forget which one owns them. Is Comcast owned the Warner or is that
It's
AT&T?
Universal.
So
Right?
Comcast owns Universal and AT&T owns Time Warner.
That
One of them
sounds
do.
right.
One of them owns it. I know that. It's between them two.
Yeah. Yeah, Warner Media is AT&T.
Okay.
Comcast.
So like that Warner Media should be his own thing. I was so mad like they got like boy. It's like good God, y'all went bought
Yeah.
DC, but now y'all like, oh, we gotta get bought now. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you look at Marvel. Well, I mean, I don't know how the comic book, stuff is doing now, but because the movie stuff is so big, it's almost like you want to say like Disney should have Disney stuff, and then Marvel should spin out into its own thing, headed by like Kevin Feige or something like that. And then like Pixar is fine; they should be able to split out into their own thing. But nope, everybody wanted the bag, so they gotta get bought by Disney.
Yeah. All right. But Disney Infinity though. Back to that. I guess yes. One of the back Toys of Life games. This was like the heyday of those things, man. This is basically
Yeah.
like the prime. This is the basically the pinnacle of it. And
Yeah,
like until
this is the summit of the mountain,
Yeah.
and they are going to very quickly fall off the other side.
yeah, because after the Marvel it was Star Wars, but Star Wars was
Yeah.
kind of coming at the ladder. I mean, it was cool, but it was that was basically it. It was like after that was it. I mean, it was cool. It's got those new toys. The toys look good and everything.
Yeah,
man.
I like the designs of those characters a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It's just that it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And where I questioned because I was like, darn, that's just all can just be characters, not physical toys.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of shocking to me that we haven't like seen somebody try and revisit that, but with a all digital thing, since this went under. Because now we're talking about it being 10 years ago, which is kind of shocking. Jeez.
All right. So now we got another big game that came out. Oh no, Wii U. Yes, the Wii U was out 10 years ago, and we got Warriors. This is the first Nintendo property to be put in the Warriors universe, like well, not really universe, but a Warrior style game, and like this is like one of their first team ups, because eventually they go with what's the RPG called? Darn, damn, what the hell is that?
Oh, Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem, yeah, yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, so yeah, so this was cool because it's like, I was really excited for this game, and I didn't have a Wii, and I was kind of jealous, like, oh my god, I would love to have this game because I love Dynasty Warriors, and then having Zelda like fight all these enemies at one time in the Zelda universe, it was like, yeah, that is good. That is very creative how they did that, and so yeah, and this was like probably like the first time I really thought about those crossovers because any other crossover that came out before then, if they did, I didn't really know about them, or there was like of a property of a Japanese cartoon property that I wasn't really familiar with. So I didn't really care. So this was like the first one where it was like a side story that wasn't Dynasty Warriors or the Samurai Warriors. It was like with another property. So I was like, yeah, that's a cool idea. And yeah, when I finally got my hands on the game, I really liked it. It was like one of my favorite Dynasty Warrior type of games. I liked playing as Zelda and all the other characters, side characters they had throughout the Zelda games, and graphically it looked good. Like, yeah, it was cool, man. I really liked the game, and it's unfortunate that it cost full fucking price when it came on the Switch. I did want to get it again, but I was like, I want to pay full price for it though. I still gotta, man. It's still I play every now and then. And I do play the shit. What is the newest one called? Warriors.
Oh yeah.
What is that one? What is the subtitle of that one? The Wild Warriors, Breath of the Wild Warriors. That's what it's called. So it's like, I don't forgot what that was called.
Yeah.
Warriors Age of Calamity, was that what it's called? Like,
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. That's what it was, a subtitle. Okay, yeah.
Oh, it is right there. I'm like looking for it in this Wikipedia article. Like it's got to be in here, and it's literally right in the first paragraph.
But yeah, so yeah, I still play that every now and then because it's so much to do. There's so many side quests, and I forgot what the fucking main story was because it's been so long. That I played since the beginning. But it is still fun for me to just go there and just bust up a whole bunch of bloggins or whatever they call those goblins or whatever they're in, boglins or whatever they call them. All right, so yeah. So what else we got here? We got Forza Horizon 2 came out for the Xbox One, and it was still on the Xbox 360. So yeah, this is the second Forza Horizon. The first one was pretty popular, and and this one came out. So it was like, oh, and this one you're playing. Was it Monte Carlo or something? Where?
This was it was like southern France, Italy area.
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
I didn't remember this one as much. I was thinking this was the one that I played like the most, but I think this is the one. The first one I played a lot of. This one I only really played the standalone DLC with the Fast and the Furious stuff.
Yeah.
Because this was before like Game Pass, so we were still having to buy these games individually.
So yeah, they did have that DLC, the Fast and the Furious one where you can play Dom's car and everything. But yeah, it looked good. I've played it eventually when I was able to get it for free, and I played it. I actually played it like after 3. I think it was when it came out. I think that's where I really started playing it because 3 never came out before I can play on Game Pass. So
Yeah.
then when 2 was like a free to play, like, I mean, not free to play, but like one of those game of the month games for Xbox, I was just like, yeah, I'll just play this one. And then I saw the appeal of it. That's why I saw the appeal of Horizon. I said, oh, okay, I see, like, you could just go around the world and stuff and do the races, and it's not, and it's these nice, cool, more diverse races, not just the typical
Yeah, that's the thing
racing
is
game.
the
Yeah.
Forza stuff. The tracks just got so kind of repetitive. You would see them constantly.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Forza, the Horizon series, they would basically just make tracks out of whatever streets were around. So there was a lot of variety there.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, like, people, they did like those, obviously, because they love Gran Turismo, because that was repetitive, and to me it felt repetitive, but that was just the style, because it's like in real racing, that's how it is. You play on the same
Exactly. Yeah.
and then you just get better, and and whatever, you try to get your times. But yeah, that's why I started to see the appeal of Horizon, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is probably like my favorite type of racing game. Like, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I got an 86 on Metacritic. Here, yeah, I got all like pretty much high scores. Except for Polygon, gave it a 7.
Ugh.
I guess they were
Polygon.
getting paid enough for that one.
Wasn't woke enough for them, Dominic.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Oh, actually, the official Xbox magazine gave it an 8 out of 10.
Oh man, what is going on there?
Yeah. What the hell? They must knew they were about to go out of business. Yeah, say, screw this. But give them a little score. They say they were about to go out of business anyway. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. We also got Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. This is the Persona 4 fighting game. I wasn't really into Persona then, so I didn't really care. But a lot of people did care because it was they were pretty big on it. You have characters from both 3 and 4 in it. And I'm guessing there was another version of this game, or yes, there was this is a direct sequel to Persona 4 Arena, which I don't know what the difference is. Don't ask me, because like I said, I never played these games, so I don't know. I'm just sure they added new locations and characters in here.
Let's say characters and stages.
Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, I mean, people enjoyed the original games, and then they put them in a fighting game, and it was like, oh man, it's just pretty cool. Like, yeah, I was still very ignorant to the Persona series when this game came out, so I didn't really pay attention. Now that I think about it, it's like, oh man, I want to try this game now. I want to try this game out because I played both games, 3 and 4, and now I know those characters. And now I'm playing the fighting game. That really sounds interesting. It came out on what system was that? Hold on, let me go back. What was it? The PS3 and Xbox 360? I guess yes. Yeah. And that those were the first in America, because it did come out in Japan, and there was an arcade. There was actually an arcade game in Japan.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
So man, these American releases, they came in Japan on the 28th of August on the PS3, and September 30th on 3. Well, no, it it never came out on 360 in Japan. That obviously, like, why would it? I actually now I'm more shocked that it came out on 360 now.
Period. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, and then it came out for the Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Windows years later, 2022. Actually, 2 years ago, March 17th. So It got re-released. So yeah, it's got a ton of playable characters. It looks pretty cool. So yeah, for those fans to have that, it was pretty big. Yeah, they really. The guys who's the developers here? Arc Systems did the game, and I like their fighting games, man. They have a really good look to them. And the P Studio, which stands for Persona. But I guess they have done they've done really well with that franchise. Like that franchise has come really bigger than I ever thought it would ever be. Honestly, start out with some kids just shooting themselves in the head. And
and for it to be as mainstream as it is now, it's kind of crazy.
And here we are. All right, and last but not least, we have Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor was released 10 years ago. This was like a game of the year, basically, for a lot of
by
sites and
default,
publishers.
unfortunately.
Yeah, it was like between that and Dragon Age Inquisition. The Shadow of Mordor was really known for the Nemesis system they had there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is that. So system. Well, now you better explain it because you actually beat the game.
Yeah, so basically, you would face these enemies out in the open world, and then eventually they would come back. And it was like these orcs would be kind of named characters. But also, as they came back, they would have like, oh, you slashed their head off or something like that. Then they'd have like a metal collar on because somebody stapled their head back on, or you chop their arm off and they would come back with a metal arm.
How do you patent that? That's what I want to know. Because you can't just do a game where you're like, oh, you killed this, you fought this enemy and beat them, and they just come back. Like, how is that? What kind of?
I mean, that there was also more to it than that. I mean, if there was actually a menu that showed you basically like a mafia style like organization, because it would be like, okay, here are your low level lieutenants, and then here are your higher level guys, and then there's one big guy at the top, and as you took out some of the people, you would see other people move up. I think maybe that's where they would get more out of the like actually patenting of a system, I guess. Because like it's crazy that we have not seen anybody, including their own games. I don't know if the Mad Max game included anything this style because it was made by that same developer. But you could look at this like, for me, it always excited me for like a superhero game because you have your like street level villains, at the bottom of the cast, and then you go further up and you have your Mr. Freezes and then your Jokers and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool, and hopefully, if this Wonder Woman game ever actually happens, they'll do something similar like that. Although I honestly can't tell you very many Wonder Woman villains, so I don't know that it would have the same effect.
That's what I was about to say.
Like a Batman or a Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, they have to go through the well. I mean, because the comics been around forever. There's all of these comics, so it's got to be even some non-famous people villains you just put in there or something like that.
Yeah. God, there's just so many cheetahs in here. So I think that was a really cool system. I just think the game itself was handled really well for it to be kind of just another open world game, but like moving around the world was a lot of fun because they just let you run at like infinity speed basically and almost teleport to places. The combat was fine. It was basically the Batman combat, but adapted to, a Lord of the Rings fantasy style. I think the most disappointing thing about that game was like the final boss. And, if you don't even get that far, it's a pretty dang good game. I never got around to playing the second one. It's one of those things that, along with the Mad Max game, is one of those that's like, I would like to try it out sometimes, but there's just so many games coming out at a constant pace. Like, it's so hard to go back and revisit anything that you don't already have like firm nostalgia for or something.
Oh yeah, there was some controversy in this game. I know it was one thing where Ubisoft employee was saying they were using their assets from Assassin's Creed 2. Monolith responded saying that they did everything from scratch. And then in October 2014, this is right here, after the usual video game review outlets were unable to obtain an early access to Shadow of Mordor, John Bain, known as Total Biscuit, said that YouTube...
Oh man, Total Biscuit.
I know. YouTube video create... Is that the one that passed away?
Yeah, he passed away.
Yeah. Said that YouTube video creators have been offered early access in exchange for agreeing to a contract requiring them to describe it positively. Jim Sterling of The Escapists obtained a copy of one of the contracts and analyzed it in detail. The Federal Trade Commission began investigation and announced in July 2016 that Warner Brothers Home Entertainment had violated the Federal Trade Commissions Act, and that the company must declare sponsored advertising in the future.
So they slapped him on the head, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what it sounds like. Because I don't know. Yeah, it's like, well, so what happened?
No,
like,
guys, in the future you have to, or maybe that's where we got like the regulation where everybody has to declare that they're sponsored now, because that is a thing.
Yeah,
you know, that's
yeah. We got that. Yeah,
Twitter
but it's like, come on, man. Yeah, at least put them on the stocks or something. Put them on the stocks so we can throw tomatoes at them or something, man.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Throw digital tomatoes. Put it like a digital stock of them. And like,
can I buy an NFT tomato to throw at them? This is my unique tomato.
But yeah, man, I'm looking at these awards, man. It's a lot of nominated, and a lot of ones. Yeah. It's like it was up there, man. Like, I'm just curious to see what games it lost to. It
was a rough year.
Yeah, it was. This year, 2014 was not a great year. I mean, it wasn't a bad year, but it wasn't. It had a phenomenal.
Yeah.
Excuse me, games that came out.
Exactly.
All right, so we're moving on to 2004, 20 years ago, and we got Armored Core Nexus came out for the PS2. Why is this a big game, Daniel?
Because it's an Armored Core game. It's the 8th one. That's all I know about it.
It's a From Software game.
Because we have nothing else in 2004.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the From Software developed the game. They also published it in Japan, but Tech published it in North America. And actually in Japan, they came out earlier. It came in North America in September 28th. But yeah, Armored Core, this is one of those franchises, and this is before some software became huge. With games I don't like that they make.
I'm happy about your success.
All right, so that's it for 2004. That's pretty much it for the flashback segment. So now we're going to a new month, next month, and we have covers next month. So we'll take a quick break. When we get back, get to the gaming news.
All right.
And we're back. So let's get into the gaming news. What we got, Dan?
All right. First up, Dominic. I feel like I remember you talking about this a little bit. Simpsons Tapped Out. It's been a game on mobile for a very long time. I never jumped into it because it always sounded like a mobile game. But it is shutting down as of October 31st. It will be removed from the App Store, and its servers will be shut down on January 24th, 2025. Did you ever give this game a fair shake, Dominic?
I mean, I played just a little. But not much. Because I think it got to a point somewhere in the game where either I can't play no more, where you had to put money towards it, and I was like, it looked good for its time. Like, hey, look, the art, like Simpsons art style and stuff, and it got shiny things that happens that makes me want to do stuff. But I was like, oh, I don't have no money to put in this, and I don't want to put money in this. So, yeah, I just didn't bother.
Yeah, mobile games that like disincentivize me from playing them are like just why I don't like mobile games, because it's like either you pay this money or you wait 7 hours to play it again. It's like, well, I'm not going to give you money, so I'm going to wait 7 hours. And if I wait 7 hours and then I wait 7 hours and then I wait 7 hours, I'm probably just never going to come back to you.
Yeah.
That's what happened with like Plants vs. Zombies 2. They ruined that for me.
That is just such greed. Like, that was not you could have made a mobile version of that, but you should not have made 2 that. Like, 2 should never have been that. That should have been what it was. Like, what the game was. Something you buy. Like, you buy the game, and that's it.
Because that's the thing. I'll happily give them, let's say even $20, depending on what the level of quality of the game is. But for me to potentially never have an end to how much money I have to give you to keep playing, that's what frustrates me the most. A lot of these mobile games nowadays are like subscriptions. It's like, oh, you can do this ad free if you pay us $10 a month. And it's like, I'm never doing that. And I don't want to play with these very intrusive ads. So I'm not going to play your game at all. All right, Dominic. In some other news, Meta has announced the Quest 3S, which is going to be a reduced version of the Quest 3. It's going to come in two variations, a 128 gigabyte for $299 and a 256 gigabyte version for $399. It's going to have a slightly lower resolution screen at 1832 by 1920 per eye. And it's going to use Fresnel lenses instead of pancake lenses. Fresnel lenses are just the kind that they used to use basically with all VR headsets. It was kind of the pinnacle until they switched these pancake lenses, which everybody is kind of deemed to be superior. And that will reduce the field of view by like 6 degrees in both directions. So there's definitely some trade-offs here. I haven't seen anybody with some hands on yet to indicate whether that is worth the additional
that's what it is
cost.
Like with the additional cost. Well, yeah, what the hell with that? Of
the original, Quest 3.
Like if I get the Quest 3S, would it be like? Would it matter? Would it matter? Yeah. Like, is there like games that this game runs pretty slow through here? That's really what it is. Or it looks
and that's not the case. It's using the same processor.
Yeah. So I mean, or like it looks so much worse. Do that. But if it doesn't, then that's cool. So $300 for 3S. So $400 for what was the original price?
It was $499 for the Quest 3.
Yeah, $300. I'll take.
Now it's got $650 crossed out. I don't know if they were indicating. Yeah, it's always been $499. It's out of stock right now on their site, but it's $430 currently for the original Quest 3 with 128. So yeah, I mean, I would be interested to see what people are saying about as far as the difference in visual fidelity, because like if I'm upgrading. At this point, I'm upgrading from the original Quest itself, so I would probably want the biggest jump I could have without going too crazy. But obviously, this would be an upgrade for me. So, I mean, the Quest 2 would have been an upgrade for me. So I like that there's a cheaper option. I don't know that I support there being a cheaper option instead of just the price dropping on the other one, because that's what we used to get. And I don't know if this is a positive thing or not. You know what I mean? Like, is this in place of dropping the price? You're giving me an inferior product, or is this just they're trying to find the happy medium here where they're not losing money, but they're also getting people
but that's
the
a
ability
good
to play something.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But
because we're still at a point where they need to get more people playing VR if they want VR to really
because I need all the growth, because it seems like it's been stagnant to me. The VR space, which is only good if that's enough. if that's enough. But,
and it doesn't feel like it is, because the games. There's some big games like Batman's coming out soon. Azora's Wrath, I hear really good things about, but you don't see a lot of big talent going on there.
The big games are they're really spread out when they come out. Like compared to what they come out for, consoles or PC or anything. And like, though there are games like you keep looking like every week or a month or so. There are games that come out, but then they're really just what you call what they used to call shovelware. They're not they're not really great or anything. They're good, like they're games that would have been cool if you never had ever played VR before. But it's just that you're seeing a lot of the same games. When I look in the store, I see a lot of games that are the same, and then it's like, is this better than the original kind of version of this, or like of what you copied this from? If it's not, then I'll just get that one. So I'm curious what the VR space will look like for some years to come. Like, will they get some growth to it? And then how do you get people back in, because really you got that fast growth because of COVID, but that's over now.
Yeah.
How do you get people back into wanting to be in VR? How do you get people back to not wanting to be in real life anymore?
Yep. Another pandemic.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah. It was
Dominic.
all orchestrated, Daniel. It was all orchestrated.
All right. Next up, this one's kind of crazy. Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed to February 14th of 2025.
What?
So this is not
No.
going to be a good fiscal
No,
year
they
for
take out
Ubisoft.
the black man. That's what they're doing.
Is-
They take him
yes.
out.
I see. I thought they were going to add an Asian man character. That's what I figured they were doing.
Oh, they do that too.
Figured that'd be the easier way to
They'd
handle.
be like, hey, you can make your characters look like the way you want. So it'd be like
Oh,
you can have
jeez.
an Asian man.
They just give you a shade slider. People will still complain. They'll be like, no. The story isn't written for a white man specifically. Yeah, I think it's crazy that, we don't typically see delays out of Assassin's Creed. I think a couple of years ago we saw one for, I want to say it was Origins or something like that.
Maybe the first one.
But these games, well, yeah, the first one. But these games have pretty regularly been coming out on a pretty set schedule, and for them to not meet it, especially in a year.
That means Microsoft can bring back Avowed. Hopefully he's running at 60 frames per second now.
Oh, well, never mind then. Let's give them another 6 months for that. Yeah, it's just, it seems like it's going to be a rough year for Ubisoft. The Outlaws is not seemingly hitting the way they would maybe hope for. And
Outlaws.
with this,
the Star Wars.
Yeah,
game.
Star Wars. Yeah. It just kind of leaves them in a bad place. So, looking at the next victim of consolidation here, Dom.
Yeah, dancing. The dancing.
They got Just Dance.
Yeah.
Hopefully that hasn't been delayed yet. All right, Dominic, just a real quick update. We talked about the 30th anniversary PlayStation stuff. The pre-orders went live for that without Sony actually ever announcing the price of that bundle, the PS5 Pro one that came with the controller and then the extra elite level controller. I don't know why I'm blanking on what
how do you pre-order? You could just say, hold it for me?
It was their website. They had a whole kind of queuing system on the PlayStation Direct, the same way they did with the PS5 stuff. And no, you're putting your money down. You're
How much?
You're giving them your credit card information. So that bundle was $1,000. It was $999.99. It's just, and it sold out instantly, of course, because
my hair crowd would have been maxed out.
they're making only 12,000. They're only making 12,300 of them. So, everybody was expecting this thing to go at whatever price, because this is effectively, people are going to buy this to sell them on eBay. And we're already seeing prices of $2,000 and $3,000. Now, I don't know how many of those are actually sold, because they don't even have the product in their hands. So I don't know that I would buy from anyone that doesn't, have it already. Because things can go wrong, credit cards can get declined after the fact. Sony can, fall through in some way and not fulfill that order. But yeah, it's disappointing, especially when they have these plates. They touted that as a big thing, and seemingly based on the state of play, they're still doing the different color plates. You could have very much just sold these plates as things that people could add to their console.
But you can't sell it for $1,000.
But you couldn't sell it for $1,000. So absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's whatever. All this stuff's too much for my blood, so I don't even care. Hey, are you still there, man?
Yeah, sorry. I muted myself for a second.
Okay.
I forgot to unmute myself. I looked at it for a second just to see what was going on there. And by the time I got through the queue, they had sold out of the Edge controllers. They had sold out of those. The PlayStation Portal 30th anniversary color and the regular controller 30th anniversary color were still available. And I'm like, I have no interest in either of those things. So yeah, I got to participate. But yeah, there's no way, even if I had gotten into it in a position to buy this thing, even if I was like, I'm just going to flip it, like I was not going to do that. That's a lot of money to put up front with the potential to, save that money. Now, the thing that gets me is like, I'm going to wonder how many people are actually going to leave these things in the boxes and sell them somewhere down the road when they're actually like sort of collector's items. That's going to be the price that I'm going to be impressed by, I think, 20 years from now. They're like, yeah, we're at the 50-year anniversary, and, you're selling a 30-year anniversary PlayStation 5 Pro for $10,000 in box. And then there's some YouTuber that's going to buy it and just open it instantly by like ripping the cardboard apart and sniff it or something. If YouTube even still exists then. All right, Dominic.
We
next.
exist.
What's that?
We exist. I don't know.
But will we in 40 years or whatever? I said 20 years. All right. Dominic, next up, State of Play. Sony did end up having a State of Play, as was rumored. We unfortunately did not get the Days Gone remaster announced here, so if that does in fact exist, maybe someday down the line we will get that, but for now, no. First up, though, we did get Dynasty Warriors Origins. That's coming out January 17th, 2025. I believe we've seen that in the past, briefly announced. So
yeah, but like seeing
a little
it
more footage of that.
I saw more gameplay of it, and like because TGS happened, so and it looks pretty good, man. Like it looks like really good, like a next gen kind of Dynasty Warriors, like probably like last gen, but actually like a real next gen, because I felt like 8. I think 8 actually did come on 360. Maybe I'm trying if I'm misremembering. Well, it didn't look that much better than any 360 game. Put it like that. 8 and 9 was pretty bad. I mean, that was overall people didn't like 9. But this one looks like okay. This is actually moving forward, and I like the look of it. You find all these enemies and stuff like that. So yeah, I want to get my hands on that.
All right, so they're coming in Chroma Pearl, Chroma Indigo, and Chroma Teal, so basically white, purple, and green. I think they look pretty good. I'm glad they're still doing the covers. I'm not totally sure if they're doing these colors in the original sizes as well, because I was looking at the PlayStation Direct website earlier, and I was actually surprised to see how many of the colors that they have currently that are available for the original sized PlayStations as well as the Slims. And I didn't actually see these on that site yet, but all of the colors that they had in Slim so far, they have in the regulars. So not necessarily something I'm going out there to look for to buy, but if my controller were to break or something like that, that green one's pretty snazzy, Dominic. All right, next up was Alan Wake 2, the Lake House expansion. That's coming out in October 2024. That is the second set of DLC for Alan Wake 2, and the Lake House played a prominent part in the DLC for the first Alan Wake game. So I'd imagine this is going to be some pretty solid story stuff. And it sounds like people were pretty positive about that original DLC as well.
How far did you get in the first, Alan Wake 2?
Oh man, that is a game I really feel like I should get back to at some point. I don't know, honestly, how far I was into the game. I would say at least a third of the way through. Yeah, it's I don't remember what it was that stopped me from getting through it, but yeah, that's one of the games on the list. Add it to the list, Dominic, along with everything else. I'm already getting to the point where I'm like, man, it's been a couple of weeks. Well, it's been a week since I played Astro. I really should get back to that and finish it before it gets added to the list of things that I really like.
Did you finish Zelda?
Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
Nope. That's another one. And I'm close to the end of that game,
That's
too.
what I was about to say.
The
You were close.
Yeah, the problem with that is like they made me go down into the depths like to find something before I could get to the final boss. And then that just turned into me like, oh, I'm just going to do everything in the depths. And then I eventually just kind of fell off of it because something came out. And now, like I said, Astrobot, Plucky Squire, I feel like I'm not far off from beating that game. And while it might not be my favorite game of the year, I was having a lot of fun with it. But starting up Zelda, like it immediately pushes me onto the next thing. And then going back to that becomes that much harder. Let's see. Alan Wake. After that was Fear the Spotlight. This is like a PS1 inspired horror game coming from Blumhouse Games. Very polygonal looking, scary. Coming out October 22nd. After that was Towers of Aghasba. This is an open world sandbox game. It's also on PC. That's coming to early access in November 2024. The footage of it looked to run pretty yes. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it now. Rock the Casbah. The footage of it looked to be running pretty rough, but it looked pretty cool. Like it had kind of Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild vibes to it, but it was also like base building stuff, but also like climbing up big monsters, almost like a not Eco Dominic. What's the other one that now I'm like Shadow of the Colossus kind of stuff. Okay. Like it differentiated itself enough that it looked kind of neat. We got a release date for Lego Horizon Adventures that's coming out November 14th. That is of course coming out on Switch in addition to the PlayStation. We also have Keanu Reeves, Dominic. He's being added as DLC for Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, because he is going to be the voice of Shadow in Sonic 3.
Badass.
I have not seen a trailer yet for it. So.
Yeah, I saw it.
Is he?
No, I'm talking about not the game, but the movie.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. After that was Phantasma Neo Dimension. I didn't write anything down here for it, which means I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what this was.
What is this? It's something Japanese?
This is an anime thing. Oh, this is the one that is adding Tubi's in there from the game. I can't think of it. What is it? Nier Automata. Or no, is that not Tubi and it's just another girl that looks exactly like Tubi? I don't know, honestly. This is very anime, Dominic. It's an RPG.
She looks like it. She looks like Tubi.
Yeah, I think it's just she looks like it. All right, next up was Hitman 3 VR Reloaded, coming out in December 2024. So now you can play all the Hitman 3 levels in VR, which, I mean, at least we're getting something out of VR. I feel like the first PlayStation 2 VR announcement that we've gotten in a very long time. We finally got an announcement after like the leak from Comic-Con on that statue that there is a Legacy of Kain.
Wait a minute, Miss Walker,
Soul Reaver 1 and 2.
Isn't that the guy from Final Fantasy created? Isn't that his company?
Yes.
So he's back.
It's Miss Walker.
Yeah, so he's being published by Square Enix, so it's like he's back.
Wow. Nice. Hopefully that turns out good then. Yeah, it's coming out on December 5th, so we're going to find out very soon, Dominic. All right. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver Collection.
Oh, yeah.
Remastered.
That's man, we've been talking about it for years, and they finally did it.
Yep, that's coming out December 10th, so hopefully that ends up being an enjoyable game, Dominic, because if it's like, oh yeah, I guess this game is okay.
Yeah.
The mystique is gone. The illusion has been shattered. They also showed off some free DLC for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. It's adding 2 new characters, Mondo Gecko and Mona Lisa.
I don't know about Mona Lisa.
As well as a remixed.
I don't know about.
I didn't either. I was confusing her with Venus de Milo. I thought she was the female turtle. She's a female lizard.
They need to bring in that character from the comics. It's a white fox. I think Raphael ends up. Well, I know he falls in love with her. I don't know how they do it though.
You don't want to know how they do it.
It's like I don't know if they go that far. I think they even talked about because the girl asked, why? Because you're a different species. Like, say why you don't mention because you're different species or something. And he said, yeah. He said, do you not is this he was confused how that works.
I like how when I'm on the Turtlepedia for Alopix, the female fox that you're talking about here, there's a little thing that says you're not on Nicktoons anymore. Some TMNT stuff really isn't for little kids.
Oh yeah, the
warning.
Yeah, not well. It ain't nothing sexual. I'll tell you that, but it is more violent. It's more
gotcha.
Like it's more violent and than a regular like turtle cartoon. But it's good. Like I mean I enjoy it.
It's got a good style to it.
They have different art styles, just like all the other like all comic books. Like they don't stay with the same one. Yeah. And some comics have different art styles. Like some of them I don't really care for, but then some I do.
Gotcha. All right. Next up, Dominic, Lunar Remastered Collection is coming out in 2025. Are you a fan of the Lunar series? I remember these, but
I played one because somebody borrowed it. I think in high school that we borrowed their game, and it was okay. The only thing I like was that you did see the girl naked, and like in one of the anime cartoons. So for high school, me, it's like, yay, you see boobies. But that was it. And then I was disappointed because the boy said, hey, you do see a naked girl in there. And then I played that game for how many hours it takes to beat the anime. And I was like, that was the only scene. I said, I was expecting to see more.
But it was totally worth it.
But no, it's all right. But I don't remember anything about it. I remember that it was like one of those, like back in the day, like they used to have those things where Atlas, I think it was either Atlas or another company would bring out these JRPGs, and the only way they would sell them was in those big collections because they got to get some money for it. Because of they can't just bring it and just. It's like I guess they couldn't just bring it and just sell it like a normal game because it just to get the translation and stuff is probably a lot of money and stuff like that, and the popularity over here is not going to be as great, so you're not going to sell as much, so you want to make it worth it. So that's because I always see those things in the magazines when they show like, oh, look at this nice looking RPG, but then like the animation stuff looked nice. Oh, look, and then I see the gameplay, it's like it looked like a Super Nintendo game, and I was like, I don't care, but it's probably still a good game. But it's just that for me, I was at the time of graphics. I was a graphics guy. So, like, if it didn't look like a Final Fantasy kind of graphics game, I didn't care. But he told me you should play this, and I played it. I said, okay, it was good. It was like I enjoyed it. I mean, it was okay, like for the time. Like for me, this is like 9th grade me. You playing a game, 9th grade or 10th grade. I forget whatever year it was. I don't think it's the year it came out, but he just had the game. I liked it because I think I had a PlayStation 2 at the time, but so I had to put it on PlayStation 1, and it was. I mean, it was all right. It was like had the graphics of like a Super Nintendo, but I think it was like a lot bigger, and then it had like anime cutscenes and things like that, and the music because it had a sound. Cause it came with a soundtrack and stuff. I guess the music was all right. I just don't remember. But yeah, I guess it did have its core following probably with that. And so I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious just to see this game again and see if I will like it now. Like, will it be cool now? Yeah. It better have more boobies. All right. It better have better boobies. And then bigger.
Remastered with the addition.
Bigger boobies.
Content. Oh, bigger. Okay. All right, Dominic, next up was Metro Awakening VR. That's coming out on November 7th. It's also going to be a Quest and PC game as well. You're a Metro fan, Dominic. Is VR too much? Is that too scary?
That's too scary. That's definitely too scary. Nah, I am not playing no scary games. Like, it's bad enough we playing just first person sometimes in those games. I'd be damn I'm gonna be in first person. Try to like those monsters and shit, scaring the shit out of me. Hell no.
I gotcha. All right, next up, Pal World is now out on the PS5. So if you've been waiting to play Pal World because you didn't have anything other than PS5, you can do that now.
Well, you better play it. Yep. And hopefully they'll give you money
play
back.
It before Nintendo
Hope they give you money
down.
back if they say that they gotta take it off. take it out of the store.
Because it sounds like it released worldwide except for in Japan because of that stuff. So
Nintendo got a blockade.
Yep.
They got all the ships. All the digital ships are blocking it.
They've got all this, okay. Hell Is Us was next. This is a horror Souls-like. They showed some gameplay of that. It looks all right. I mean, it looks like one of those games, but in a even spookier setting than
horror Souls-like. Two words I don't like. There you go.
The next one looked pretty cool though. The Midnight Walk. This is out on PS5 and PSVR.
Yeah, that's a claymation one. Yeah,
it's coming too. Yeah, it's like a claymation thing. Looks pretty neat. I don't think they had a release date for that. Let's see. It is also coming to PC. No release date announced yet. But that looks creepy too, in a different way.
Nightmare Before Christmas creepy.
Yeah, but maybe even turned up to like 11 or 12.
What about like the Corpse Bride creepy? Or Caroline creepy. Caroline get real creepy too.
Yeah, Caroline could get creepy.
And that one with Nine, or whatever it's called. With
Kubo and the Nine Strings. I still haven't watched that. I'd like to watch
not that one.
I've
seen that one. That was good.
Oh, Nine. Yes, just Nine. Yeah, the little sack boy guys.
Yeah.
I forgot about that movie. I think I watched that movie, but it was like right around the time.
Did they have a 3D version of that movie?
I don't remember.
I wonder if they.
I want to say it was 3D in theaters, but I don't know if it ever.
It was. I thought it might have came out before 3D and then maybe after. Like, I thought I missed the boat. Oh, I gotta look at it again. Yeah, Elijah Wood. All right. Next up, Dominic, Astrobot DLC. It's getting 5 new speedrun levels as well as 10 new Astrobots. That's coming out sometime this fall, so hopefully soon. Especially if I get back into playing that game. I'd like to don't make Astrobot speedrun. People have to speedrun it. You don't do that.
Nope. Make him run by himself. All right, here's the big one, Dominic. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. It is official. It's coming out October 31st, both for PlayStation and PC. Now, it will be a $10 upgrade if you already own the game.
Yep, and I see people already justifying that. So I was like, yeah, y'all go ahead.
Yeah, I see people being like happy about that. And to an extent, like I'm like, oh yeah. But at the same time, it's almost like, oh, this is just a late version of making it run better on the PS5 from the PS4, which the Xbox just kind of inherently does. Now, it seems like there might be some additional, like, some better models in this game.
They said they did some re-recordings
of the game
too.
Yeah, and they did allegedly 10 hours of re-recorded dialogue, but like, I don't know that I'm gonna notice that. Like that's the last thing I'm gonna notice.
Because the dialogue wasn't that great in the first one.
Yeah. And
last day we recorded, it said, "Oh, we heard people's problems and we did it right." But even still, I'm just saying, for people who already played the game, unless you're a guy who buys a game, plays it once, and that's it, and you haven't played it since it came out and whatever, I guess you can have an inkling to play it again. I guess, yes. Yes, you can have that. But if you're a person who, maybe you play it again because the part 2 came out or something, if I played it at least twice, like, well, for me, I played it twice because I played it on PC. I wouldn't get this. I'm not going to get this again. It's not worth it.
Yeah, and the other problem you see now is
And
that
is it really
because
worth me
it's a
paying for it?
$10,
It's like that's the thing. It's like if I have the game and if it can play on the system, it's not like it
I mean,
can't be
especially
played.
like if you played the PC version, like that thing is beautiful if you have a
Well, they say
powerful
when we
enough
recorded
computer.
dialogue, so that dialogue could be better.
It could be.
But I'm saying that I'm like, why? Yeah, it's only the only. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. It doesn't because it just seems like, especially you can play the original game up there, and it's not like it's a game two generations behind where it looks so much better. It's like
Except that's the problem now is like you can't get the original game at the discounted price anymore because of that $10 upgrade. They've now raised the price of the version that's
for new
available
people.
right now.
Well, that's a new person.
Yeah, that's for new people.
Yeah. I'm just saying for people who already have
absolutely.
the game, I don't think it's worth it. They're going on
That
$10
even, right?
Like I'm like, just play the game. I bet I think you'll get the same satisfaction. I like you're it's like you're really just telling yourself that, and where I feel like you're just paying to play a game that you have. Really, I mean, yes, they did improvements.
Yeah,
but I'm sorry, I don't think it's worth it. Like I said, if there was like two generations behind, maybe, yeah, I would say that. This is only one generation behind. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not worth it.
I have to wonder how much effort Sony put into making this upgraded version because, like,
And then if they put it, Daniel, if they put any like good effort, then it wasn't worth doing. Period. You could have used it somewhere else. That's really what it is. Yeah,
because like the minuscule amount of money that they're going to get from raising the old game to a new $50 price, like I don't think you're going to get that many more sales, are you? Like, so if you put a substantial amount of effort into this, then yeah, you could have put that somewhere else. And if you didn't put any effort into it, then this should have just been the way that the game was presented to us when the PlayStation 5 launched.
yeah. It's man, I don't know. It seems so stupid. It's just like, this is all y'all done. This is a joke. Like, this is a joke. Yeah, y'all can make fun of Xbox. People can make fun of Xbox all you want. PlayStation ain't doing nothing. Like, they literally doing nothing.
This is a holding pattern, like 100%. This is, I guess this would be considered a victory lap. Is that what this is? Like, is this what winning looks like? I feel like we've said that in the past, but like, truly, is this what winning looks like? They've gotten so comfortable that they're like, you know what we're going to give you guys? We're going to give you 10 hours of re-recorded dialogue for this game.
I feel so
like
weird seeing
10
here
years
people say
ago.
like, oh yes, they like the remaster of this game. This game was so great. I was like, yo, it wasn't that long ago.
No.
Like, it wasn't that these games weren't long, like Last of Us 2 or something. It's like, dude, what? Yes, it's a great game, but it wasn't that long ago that came out. Like, what does it matter that game's getting remastered? It's not like, yo, dude, it has to be another generation, dude. For me, like, to do it.
7 years ago, Dominic, is when this game first came
That's
out.
what I'm saying. These games aren't even a decade old.
We haven't even talked about it in the flashback segment yet, Dominic.
Good God. Like this is, here's the thing. What I should be hearing about is them doing a remaster of the first freaking Killzone or something, and like they done some improvements and things of that nature. And it's like,
Resistance.
oh wow, this is or that. It's like, oh wow, this looks well, what Killzone, because it was on the PlayStation too, so it's like,
oh right, yeah.
Hey, it looks so much. This is definitely so much better than the Killzone that came out. Killzone came out was like a 7. This is like a 8.5 or something like that. Like they done some really great improvements on it, and like graphically it looks great.
Do some quality of life.
Yeah,
or something.
and graphically it looks great and things of that nature. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
Or like somebody does like what you did with the Ratchet and Clank of PlayStation 4 when you did the remake, like just a remake of that, the first one, where like you kind of did a remake and reimagining of it,
readjustments,
of that game. Do that with Jack and Daxter or something. Like somebody said, like
we just have to put out the Jack and Daxter movie, and then they'll do that.
Darn man, this stuff is like, who gives a shit? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you're not making me jealous for not having a PlayStation 5. And I just got PS4.
This isn't selling you on a Pro, Dominic. I really need to see the difference between Zero Dawn Remastered on a PlayStation 5 and a PlayStation 5 Pro. Like, please explain to me why that's necessary.
Because all it does is, like, when people talk about those games, I was like, wow, I can still play them. I can play them. Go play those games.
Yeah.
But just like everybody else.
Horizon, didn't the PC version even run, like, decently on your computer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, man. All right, Dominic, let's talk some more positivity here for PlayStation. They did have a new game to announce. Sucker Punch has announced the Ghost of Yote, which will be the, successor to Ghost of Tsushima.
How many years after?
Was it like 200 or something? It was a substantial amount. This lady has a gun.
A lady?
So,
you said a lady?
Yeah, a lady. Yep. They're following in the footsteps of Ubisoft here. And they said, we heard, oh, wait a second. Why is it when I type Ghost of Yote into Google, the second autofill result is controversy?
What controversy? What could possibly be controversial about this?
I don't know, but the first and second article, well, the first one is a Reddit post. Why do people keep saying Ghost of Yote is woke? You know why. And the second is Sports Kita, Ghost of Yote protagonist. What is the controversy? The same fans also cite historical inaccuracy.
Someone said Assassin's Creed will now release in February. Someone put up a meme of like Squidward packing up his chair and like leaving and said, "This is what Ubisoft saw when they saw the Ghost of Yote trailer. They did this."
Oh, could you imagine if this game launched like first quarter of 2025? That would be real bad for them. I highly doubt that's the case. I'm sure it'll be like holiday next year. But man, that would be rough. That's an unfortunate turn of events for them. Is the week they have to delay the game is also the same week that a potentially better version of that game will come out. I still have high hopes for Shadows. It still looks far more interesting than the last Assassin's Creed.
So. He's not in like this. The guy who's doing the joke. He's not of the woke people because
no. That joke is funny even without that. Yeah.
He's just doing it pure because see, I just read a comment. He said that. Because someone was saying that, like, oh, you're not getting a lot of traction, something. He said, because I'm blocking all the goddamn, he said, I'm blocking a whole lot of racist comments. He said, people got this wrong idea. They have the wrong idea.
Okay, it's more than 300 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima, apparently.
They got guns. I saw a gun.
Yeah, it takes place in 1603. So... yeah, I mean it looks good.
I can't wait to get to Godzilla times.
Ghost of Tsushima. That's another game. Add that one to the list, Dominic. I would definitely like to give Ghost of Tsushima a shot as well.
Yeah, that's a list for me too, and that's on PC.
Yeah. Now it is. Yeah. So, yeah. That's the other controversy about the Horizon Zero Dawn remastered on the PC is as part of the remastered thing, they're adding the PSN
and
ID
people
login
asking
stuff.
like why they killed off Jen, blah blah blah. It's like, yo, he's dead. because it's a different time period. And people say, why'd you end his story? They said this story is over. Like I don't know if he's based off a story or a real person. I don't know, but the way people describe is that story was done. Like. Mm-hmm. It was even like if he was a real person, I think they say like he didn't like his that was the end of the story. And it's like you people are why are people stupid?
I'd love to play that game and then literally at the end of the game, like he dies or something, or there's like finality, like complete closure. And it's like, oh, so all of these people complaining about this clearly did not even beat this game, right? Like they aren't fans of this game.
Yeah.
They're just courting controversy because it sells, especially on Twitter now.
like somebody that jokes said, why isn't Ghost of Ute? And then if I posted like Jen in the time period, it show a skeleton. and then someone said, bro, it's literally the Ghost of Tsushima. Bum bum.
Touche. All right, Dominic. As you mentioned, Tokyo Game Show is going on, and along with it, Microsoft did have a presentation. It started out with Metal Gear Solid Delta. They still have no release date on that game. That game is not 2024 at this point. This feels like it would have been their last opportunity to announce a date and still have it come out this year. So it looks good, but I can wait. Not that I was particularly waiting for it anyway. What do you think, Dominic? Are you excited about this on any level?
What are we talking about? I'm sorry, I was reading something.
Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, I'm not. No, not really. I'm gonna be honest with you, Daniel. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I'm able to play it, I'll play it. But am I excited for it? No.
Yeah.
It's that like I told you, my height of Metal Gear is the first one and the second one. That's it. And like after that, I did play 3. I mean, I enjoyed it, but that's when I think I was more and like I was wondering, like, man, I don't like it as much like I used to. And I just realized that I just realized the story wasn't that good. What I thought was cool writing and awesome, like it was very like it was saying, man, this is deep. Well, it wasn't deep. That was a lie. And then I find it funny when I hear now people like adults saying that. I was like, wait a minute. So you saying my kid self was right about it being deep? I just don't. That's weird because I don't think it's that deep. Like, because then people talk about like, oh, let's talk about like the horrors of war. I said, yeah, that's basic. What the fuck are you talking about? The horrors of war. It's like, yo, dude.
War equals bad. Yep, you got it.
I'm like, I see that in all the fucking movies. What the fuck are you talking about? It's like, dude, like he go to me. The whole thing was like he go too long in monologues with that shit. Like it just they be talking, and it's like, dude, when I got the point of the whole thing, I said, dude, you can shut the fuck up now. Can we play the game? Can I play the game? Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, like I said, it's probably be a good game. Like I said, I'll try it, but I'm not excited for it. Like this, if this never happened or something, whatever.
Life doesn't change at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I got you. All right, next up, Dominic. Overwatch is doing a crossover with My Hero Academia. That's coming out on October 17th. You got some costumes. It looks all right. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks all right. It looks cool. But everything, like, they look like those characters in the game with those costumes. So it's cool. I'm just not into that stuff, so.
Yeah. And when, for me, it's like Overwatch, their characters were so kind of cool and unique originally. Like, I liked seeing new original designs when they would come out with them.
Yeah, I think it's weird. You know what? Now you think, like,
it feels cheap.
Yeah, I never thought of them getting licensed stuff in that sense. Like maybe something inspired, by like maybe it's like if they were to be like, just say like if they were to do something with Marvel, like they're wearing a shirt, or a costume in a way like a Marvel person, but you're not really looking like them. It's like it's something more inspiring than them actually like, oh look, she's got the hair like the main character and stuff like I was like, that's just
something more unique.
Yeah, that feels more like a Fortnite thing, or Fortnite. Well, Fortnite, you're just playing the character, but it's like, dude, I don't think of things like that. with you.
All right, let's see. They did Transformers stuff at one point. I didn't even realize that. I knew they had done another Overwatch thing. I couldn't remember what it was, but I didn't realize they did a Transformers one. And now I'm not going to watch it because it's got an ad for stupid IGN. All right, next up, Dominic. Age of Mythology Retold is getting a expansion, Immortal Pillars. It's going to add Chinese mythology. And it looks pretty cool if you're into those style games. So it's going to include 12 new gods, most of which I will not say the names of because I'm not sure that I can pronounce them right.
Oh, there.
So,
well, then they're not real gods then.
And it is coming as part of Game Pass. So that's
what about God? Is God in there?
God's not in there yet.
God from Catholicism, Catholic, Christian God.
God, capital G, God is not in there yet. Jesus is in there, surprisingly. Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Holy Trinity thing. So technically that counts, I guess. All right, next up, Dominic. StarCraft Remastered and StarCraft 2 are going to be added to PC Game Pass. So that is exciting. That's going to be on November 5th. So if you're looking to play some StarCraft and just excited about finally seeing some Activision Blizzard games on Game Pass.
StarCraft 2, I swear to God, they just do the first one expansion like that, like they already do. They already have that out free. Because that's the one I'm waiting for to play the other two. I played the first expansion like 3 times. And I have the second one.
I've been to Space Marine so many times.
I gotta find the disc, and I'm scared that disc don't even work anymore. Because I think it probably got scratched up. And like, because I was looking, I said, "Oh yeah, it's free." It's like, "Oh, it's only the first one's free." I was like, "Oh, I ain't not buying that one again." And I don't even want to buy the third one. I'm like, "Darn, man, that game is like." I hope it's like $10 for both of them. Then I might buy them. But now it's up here, I swear it better be all 3 of them. Part of that Game Pass, because I swear it was like, just the first one, just Rings of Liberty.
They're calling it the campaign collection, so I'm pretty confident that it's all 3 of them.
Okay.
But that would be hilarious. They're just like, eventually we'll give you Heart of the Swarm or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's Heart of the Swarm, and what is it? I forgot what the third one's called.
I can't remember what the Proteus one was. Is it Void or something? Let's see if they have it right here somewhere.
Robot Ghosts. I don't know what the fuck those things are.
Legacy of the Void.
Legacy of the Void. Yeah,
Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm, and Legacy of the Void. Yep. All right, Dominic. Next up, they showed a new trailer for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. That still looks like a good game. I'm excited for something out of Game Pass this year. So hopefully that game ends up being good when it comes out. We also saw this game I don't think I've seen before. Tanuki Pawn's Summer is coming to Xbox. You're playing it as a tanuki, basically a Japanese raccoon. And it looks kind of like Death Stranding.
I mean, that's
what
delivering packages is. I didn't know that was I thought that was just a name.
Yeah, it's they're basically like Japanese raccoons. They're probably closer to like squirrels or something. People tell you, but I'm not totally sure.
So they don't have the funny hands.
No, I don't think they. Well, I don't know, to be honest with you. Tanuki. It's been a while since I've looked them up. Tanuki.
I don't know.
No, they're just kind of like paws.
I don't know, Daniel. I mean, I'm kind of looking at this one here. Okay, they don't got it they're closer to paws.
They don't have quite as many like functional digits.
God damn. Why do I see a tanuki with giant balls? And Yokai Mania, like I'm looking at images here, and like
because you typed that in, Dominic. I don't know why you typed it in.
And it's like just a raccoon walking and this humongous balls just dragging on the ground. The fuck, man!
I assure you that.
Wait a minute! I think that's what they. Is that what they do? Because look, there's a actual like some type of folklore thing. I'm looking at Tanuki, and it's it's like a statue, like a little statue, something like that. And
that's why Japan loves them.
It's showing it. What I mean, I don't know what else to say. What's right? I guess you could. Oh, you know what? I think it's might be supposed to be the tail. Maybe it's supposed to be the tail. But I don't know. That look like there's testicles just hanging out back there. The fuck is this?
I am seeing at least 2 images that are as you described them. So it's definitely not the tail.
Yeah, what the hell?
Man, this puts the Mario suit into a whole new view, Dominic. Man, Princess Peach better watch out.
Oh, so that's why he called Tanuki's. Oh, okay, so now that makes sense because I didn't know that was. Yeah. I didn't know what the fuck was wrong.
Yep. Yeah, this game looks kind of interesting though. Like you got a bike and you're grinding on stuff like it's Tony Hawk, but then you're like delivering packages like it's Death Stranding. So there might be something here. I'd give it a try if it ends up on Game Pass. I don't think they specifically said it.
And that's what Tom Nook is? Tom Nook is a Tanuki?
Yes. Yeah, I think Tom Nook's a Tanuki too. All right, next up, Dominic, was Threads of Time. This is another like 2D HD style RPG game. This one looks pretty cool though, because it also had like a segue filler anime, like fully animated scenes, kind of setting up the different timelines that you were playing across. It reminded me of the Dragon Age game that you told me about. I can't remember which number it was, where it takes place across several different timelines. Which one was that?
What is it though? What are you even talking about? I'm still looking at Tanuki Balls.
We're talking about the Threads of Time. But which Dragon Age was it that you played that takes place across like several different timelines?
Dragon Age game? Timelines?
I thought it was a Dragon Age game. Or Dragon Quest. Sorry.
Dragon Quest. Oh, that was 4.
Oh, okay. Dragon Quest. Yeah. That's what it was. But yeah, the game looks pretty cool if you're into RPGs, and especially like the old school HD 2D style ones.
Oh, Threads of Time?
I think that one does.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, that did look cool.
Yeah. All right. Then they talked about Katamari coming to Xbox Game Pass. They showed Fragpunk after that. This is I think Nexion.
I'm sorry, 5. That was 5. I said the wrong one.
Yeah. That game looks fine. It looks like it's going for something sort of unique. They're doing closed beta on October 10th for Fragpunk.
Yeah. And you don't really see many Japanese first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Was it Japanese?
Or is it? It might be.
Is it Korean?
Because I think it's Nexon, right? So it might be Korean.
It's North Korean. You don't really see many North Korean.
Bad Guitar Studio is. Where is it? Of course, they don't tell me anything about them.
Oh, so there is North Korea then.
I'm not sure. It's called Bad Guitar Studio.
Well, if you can't find it, the location is North Korea.
Then it must be in North Korea. It is in China.
Oh, they're Chinese?
Hangzhou? Yes.
They're in Tibet. All right.
No. Yeah, so they're apparently a Chinese studio.
Well, still,
yeah.
You don't see many.
We also don't see a lot
Asian.
of multiplayer first-person shooters from China. So, what was that, Dominic?
I would say, you don't see many Asian first-person shooters.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up, Dominic, was Metaphor ReFantazio. That's coming out October 11th. There's a demo for that out now, a prologue demo. So if you were interested in giving that a try, you can check that out.
Oh, okay.
That is, of course, the kind of fantasy game from the Persona people. There was Atelier.
Wait a minute. The Persona people did this one too? This is the Final Fantasy guy.
Is it?
Yeah. You said Fantasia Neo Dimension, right?
No, Metaphor
Oh, oh,
Fantasia.
damn! Am I? Where the hell am I? I'm looking at the state of play. Oh, yes, that is the Persona people. Yes. Oh, there's a
Yeah.
demo out. Oh, yeah, I gotta check that
Yeah,
out.
there's a prologue demo out now. Yeah, for me, like just looking at it, the trailer that they're showing, where they're just like, here's a menu, here's a menu, here's a menu, like this, that does not interest me at all.
Those some good looking menus, Daniel. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, they're very stylized, but for me, just I'm like, what is even happening here? It does look cool though. It's not a game I'm necessarily going to play, but it does look cool. All right. Adgear Yumiya, it's coming out March 21st, 2025. There's a guy sitting down talking about this game, but I don't really remember much about what he was actually saying about it.
He said, buy the game.
Oh, this is one of the anime games that I was just like, oh, this is another anime game. This is a alchemy themed JRPG around the concept of memory. And then there was a couple other games I didn't have on there. Suikoden, jumped to that. Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster. They showed off some gameplay of that and showed it against the original game, to which both of us were like, I can't see the difference.
Damn, that demo is 53 gigabits.
What? Really? That is crazy. All right. Yeah, Suikoden, Dominic, you were saying you had some interest in that.
Yeah, because I remember my sister let me borrow it. I mean, I told the story before, and like I didn't like it only because it looked like Super Nintendo graphics, and so. But I've heard years later that how good it was, and then of course I played the spiritual like successor just recently. You know, the guys who made that what was the game called? RPG I just beaten sometime this year. I forgot what it's called, but I'm a little more interested because I see how people love the game and they really liked it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a shot now since I'm more open minded now, Daniel. I'm more open minded.
Refined palate.
Yes.
All right. Next up was All You Need Is Help.
I experiment now, Daniel.
Okay. All right. All You Need Is Help. That's out now. That looks like some Tetris blocks playing games with each other, Dominic. It's very, very cutesy.
Is that,
if you will?
Now I'm guessing that is online multiplayer, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because I want to try that.
All You Need Is Help is a 4-player co-op game with local and online multiplayer fully supported.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass.
Love to see that.
So yeah, it's definitely on Game Pass. So I'll try that out and see how kooky it is.
Yeah. All right. Next up was Slitterhead. That's coming out November 8th. We've seen that in the past. Yeah, it is just obscenely named, Dominic.
Yeah.
Just
not even Slither. Not even Slitherhead. It's Slitterhead.
No, not even yeah. That implies that there's some kind of cut in their head, I feel like. Yeah. So creepy looking monsters. You're beating them up with swords and motorcycle helmets.
Yep. You don't. You chose not to use guns for whatever reason. I don't know, but
there's a guy with a gun in here.
Oh, okay.
He points a gun. I haven't quite seen him shoot it yet, but he's got to use it. All right. After that,
he throws the gun.
He throws the gun. It's out of ammo. I can't buy ammo in Japan. What am I thinking? Why am I even carrying this around?
Gotta get an airsoft gun.
Exactly. Starbits was next. This is a like mech RPG with some colorful cartoony characters. It looks okay. After that was Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake. Yeah. That's looking pretty good, Dominic.
Yeah, see, these I don't mind. This game's like more than 20 years old now, so like
and even then they're not doing like anything too crazy.
Yeah.
They're just
Well, you know what? I was just saying that they're not doing anything too crazy too with the Horizon either.
Yeah,
but the thing is, I think they need to make it worth it.
Yeah. That's very true, actually.
You better make it so that we can really make it so we can she can have an even bigger mustache or something like that.
The hair textures have been improved in this version.
Or you can shave. You can literally.
That's what we need. We need a verbosity slider. All right. Next up, Dominic, Tales of Mana, Legend of Mana are both out now on Game Pass and Xbox, because those are new releases for the Xbox.
Yeah, they are. And that's what they have at all.
No, and Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster is getting a collection that is now available on the Xbox, but is not a part of Game Pass, unfortunately.
So I'm still in the same boat.
Yep.
because I could just bought it. If I was going to buy it, I would have bought it on Steam.
Yeah. So that was the Xbox showing. A decent enough showing. I mean, I feel like we always.
Yeah, it is. But we have to pick a winner between the two, because that's how it works.
If that's the case, I would probably give it to State of Play, just for the simple fact that they had Ghosts of Yotei and Xbox didn't really have anything new to bring to the table.
Totally opposite of that. They say they showed nothing at State of Play.
I've definitely seen people be like real down on the State of Play, and I thought it was
all right too.
Overall.
I thought it was all right too. I mean, I guess if he was trying to look for some first party games, like original
but even
games.
then, Ghost of Yotei is big.
Yeah, but they do have that. And I mean, I was going to be honest. I mean, let's be honest. Like, they weren't going to. We would know if they had like a slew of first party games in the works. Like a whole. I'm sorry, it's not going to be a secret. Like, it's not going to be like I mean, I dream of that day. But it's not really going to be where it's like an announcement.
That's a Nintendo style thing where they're just like, oh, we've got like these 20 games of our existing IPs.
We're not going to see that. I thought it was fine. Like both shows, I thought were fine. Yeah, I thought they were fine shows. They were all right. I wasn't expecting anything huge. I wanted from Xbox. I wanted Final Fantasy. Remake to be announced, or Final Fantasy 16 or something. I wanted one of those to be announced. A State of Play, I don't think I really had. I think I wanted at least one new game to be announced, and they did. Ghost of Yotei. So I'm glad again, Power World. I mean, they showed off some stuff that's on other consoles, but still, like, that was cool to announce. Just TMT, the free DLC. Keanu Reeves being in Sonic Cross Shadow is pretty cool. I mean, and Dynasty Warriors gameplay stuff was cool. I mean, I think I saw more at the Tokyo Game Show because they actually had the demo. They had a demo of people to play there. I don't know if people played it or they watched somebody play. I don't know, but still, I saw it. I mean, I watched somebody play it, and some VR stuff. So at least they got some VR stuff coming. Because I mean, if you bought it, man, it's expensive. That shit's expensive. You want some games. So yeah, I was fine. Like I said, Kane, seeing that announced there. I mean, yeah, and Xbox, like they got something like StarCraft finally. Like, so I'm starting seeing some more these games, but not on. I'm sorry, like this little piecemeal stuff is weird to me because it's like, what are you? I mean, look, I ain't saying. Listen, I'm not even saying you put everything out just bam. It's out there.
Yeah.
But you have a ton of games. You can put like 10 of them. Like you have a ton of games. Like 10 of them that spans generations or something, man. Damn.
Also, maybe give us a timeline of when this stuff is expected.
Yeah, why not? It's like, really, why not? Why? I don't feel like you need to hold that. Because something like... Look, you still do surprises. Xbox still does surprises because sometimes we get a week, we get a game. They didn't announce it. They just put it up there. But because they announced like what the month, like you might see, like, hey, you'll see this and this will leave soon, and they still put in games that's not even part of that announcement. Like up, I say that was an announcement. I was like, oh, they just snuck this in here, and then it's like this was an announcement or something like that. They just snuck this in here. So I just feel like for that you could put a timeline out of ahead of time, like, hey, we're getting this here Next month we're getting this, and then next month we're getting these games. It's like what? Like you don't need to hold that close to your chest.
No, not at all. Give us some incentive, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So, all right, Dominic, that was the news for this week. You got anything else before we get to new releases?
Nah, man. I'm good.
All right. Real quick here, we got Epic Mickey rebrushed out on PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series. Seems like that, is a good version of that game. So I'm glad, especially after
I want to try this. I want to try this
game
game out. I mean, hopefully I have some time because I got some things to do. But I do want to at least put some just a little effort in there to try it out, because that was a game that I really wanted to play. Like I was really looking forward to it. I had that cover from Game Informer, and it's just that when I finally got my hands on it, it just did not feel right, because I was like, oh man, these controls,
the Wii controls.
Yeah, I was like, I wish they would have made it like, hey, you have an option to play with a classic controller or something like that. And so now I'm glad they did this. It took 15 years maybe or so, but it's finally come to be. So yeah, that's cool. And that's the only reason why I didn't play part 2, because I was like, I have to play 1. I have to know what happens. I can't go ahead to play part 2, even though that was available everywhere. I refused. I said, I'm not ruining the story.
All right, Dominic, next up, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. We just talked about that. Legend of Mana, Trails of Mana, all on Xbox now. Worms Armageddon Anniversary Edition.
Holy shit, I didn't even know about this.
On everything. Yeah. So if you're ready to go back into the Worms, give it a shot, I guess.
Anniversary Edition. Like, what does it look like?
I'm wondering what anniversary it is. I think it's just basically a collection of,
is it more than? I was gonna say, is it more than one game? Oh, those is
no. It's a remake of the basically just the 1990 game. New display features to suit modern hardware. Interactive documentary about Worms Armageddon, alongside a museum timeline charting the history of the series. Also includes a playable version of the game's most popular retro handheld. For the most popular retro handheld.
Hey, where's some Lemons? Is it like can it be like a Lemons anniversary or something happening? Some Lemons games?
Oh, Lemmings, man. If only. If only.
I just used to love seeing them die, Daniel.
This is Lemmings erasure, Dominic, is what we're witnessing right now. The true genocide of the Lemmings. All right, we also have EA Sports FC 25. It's hard to believe we're on the second one of these now. Out now on PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series. Football, Dominic. Or should I say soccer?
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, football around the world. I mean, I get it. Yes, we all know. But who
more
makes
of a
the more
fighting
money?
around the world
Who
kind
makes
of guy?
the most money? The one that uses less of the foot on the ball.
All right, next up, Dominic, we've got Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit. This looks like an interesting take on a Five Nights at Freddy's game.
Yeah, so I guess the thing. So what do they mean by the pit? Like, what's going on here? They like pit fighters or something?
The ball pit, Dominic.
Oh.
If the cover of this game is any indication, but it's not like the normal weird like first person type thing. This is a pixel art like side scrolling thing.
Oh,
it looks like it might be like an adventure style game.
It's my kind of game then.
It might be. I mean, besides the
like I was
unmitigated terror
I was
might
scared
experience.
of the Freddy and Jason games on Nintendo too, Daniel. So maybe
okay.
It might not even work for me being 2D.
But yeah, this looks like more of a interesting game than previous iterations of Five Nights at Freddy's to me.
I've seen the guy in the pit. Yeah, like the dragging the kids in the pit. Oh my god, this is some dirty shit.
Cannot play this near my daughter. She will never want to go back to the indoor. You know what? Maybe I should play it.
Come back to what? Well, what's the place? What's the place called? Daniel?
What?
You said Indoor?
Oh, it's just indoor gym.
Oh, indoor gym.
Is what I
Okay.
was gonna
Yeah,
say.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dominic. Next
I'm
up,
not allowed
Looney
to go
Tunes
there.
Wacky. What's that?
I said
You're not allowed to go there?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well,
You
that's
can tell
because
me about the list you were on, Dominic.
no, I just jumped in the balls, and they said
Oh,
the
okay.
adults are not supposed to be there.
Don't do that. It's not very deep. I'll warn you against that.
Yep.
The foam pit's a little deeper, but ball pit, not so much. Which is probably for the best. You know, you don't want to see what happens at the bottom of those pits.
No, then you
All
can't.
right.
Then your kid will sink, and then you gotta find them.
Back in my day, Dominic, kids used to sing. That's all I'm saying. All right. Looney Tunes, Wacky World of
different
Sports.
worlds. You go to different worlds.
How else do you think I got to Narnia, Dominic? I didn't get into those books because I like the Christianity behind them. I got because I met Mr. Tumblin at the
Here's the thing: like people talk
street
about
post.
Narnia and Christian stuff. I read that book in elementary school. Well, I totally missed that. It totally went over my head.
All that went over my head, and I was reading that stuff in like middle school.
And I was like, man,
It wasn't until like the movies came out and people started talking about it.
that was the
more, and
first
I
time I ever heard.
oh,
Yeah, that's how I heard about Jesus. Like, well, if that was their point of this book, I totally missed it. I totally did not comprehend. I should have failed that book. The book report.
Book report.
Yeah, I should have failed that shit out of that book report.
And teachers like improper analysis of the Christian faith. 0 out of 10. All right. Yeah, Looney Tunes, Wacky World of Sports, probably not a good game.
It's not.
Legend of Zelda,
Darn.
I'm betting like.
I mean, yeah. I'm pretty much assuming
it
too.
didn't
but,
look good from that trailer that they showed.
But
at,
it's
like,
probably
the
better
Nintendo
than
thing.
Mario Kart, I think, at least.
I
Okay.
knew you were going to say
It's
that.
like-
No, you got to say at least Mario Sports, Dominic. You can't say Mario Kart.
Okay, well then,
You got to say it's better than Mario 3-on-3
Yeah,
basketball
Mario-
or whatever
303 basketball. Yeah, the basketball.
for the 3DS. Let's see. Oh, it's only got 4 user reviews on Steam.
Yeah, I know.
It
damn.
does like visually look fine. I will
Yeah,
give
they
them
say that. Yeah, it does.
So
It's no LeBron James.
$50. I don't know.
I think
if I'm
that's.
willing
I think that helps it. Low LeBron.
Let's see what the Reddit Games review thread. Let's see. 48 average, 17 recommend, 6 reviews.
Man, that's
Got a
probably all
4
the
out
people
of
who
10
developed
on
the game.
Nintendo Life. Yeah, it's not great scores. It did get an 8 out of 10 from waytooManyGames.com though. So, and Xbox Era gave it a 7 out of 10. So maybe it's not as bad as I would maybe think. They do say it's a little bit janky,
They
but
should have some Tiny Toon characters in there.
it should always be Tiny Toons characters. We should only be making Tiny Toons games, Dominic. Bring back the Tiny Toons. All right.
Yeah, bring
and
them
then we
back.
have the
Period.
legend.
Yeah, it used to be on freaking Hulu, man.
Exactly.
God damn.
Yeah, you've got channels to release.
It's-
them. You brought back the Animaniacs.
Exactly.
Where's Freakazoid at? All right.
I think that was too. That was on one of these things. Freakazoid
Oh, was
was.
it?
Yeah, it did. I mean,
It's probably part of the Animaniacs or something, maybe.
no, I mean it was on like one of the streaming services. They had the old cartoons, and then they stopped.
Oh,
And they
okay.
stopped.
Gotcha. Right.
There's always these licensed stuff. It's always
Yeah. All right. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I talked about that earlier, so that is now out on the Nintendo Switch. Kind of crazy. Another new Zelda game, Dominic.
It's not as good as Echoes of Time, the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, though, from what I heard.
All right. That's disappointing, but we'll find out. All right, Dominic, anything else for the people before we wrap this up?
No, I'm good.
All right. Thank you guys as always for listening. You
Go
check
O's.
us out on
Go Go's.
Go O's. Yes, absolutely. You check Dominic out cheering for the Orioles on Twitter. Dominic's at DStalworth5. I'm at Regulus MB. The podcast is at Superpod, SUPAPOD. Superpod.com is the website. It has all of our previous podcasts, as well as links to all the places you can find us, including YouTube, where there's a video version of this podcast, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube Music, Amazon, Spotify. And until next time, guys, we'll talk to you later.
All right, see ya.